All right. All right. Thank you, my love. All right. I am so happy. I am here. Thank you so much for being with me. It is another episode of the series I'm doing about St. Patrick's Catholic School and Church, episode 4, I believe. And I am here with fellow classmates. I remember mostly in 6th grade. So go ahead, like if you don't introduce yourselves, go ahead. John, you go ahead.
I'm Blue Label Johnny, otherwise known as John when I was at St. Patrick's. I have been on your show twice before. Last time to speak specifically about St. Patrick's, but I do my own podcast, a couple of things. So, I'm a little versed at this. But let me throw it to our compadres. Cody.
I'm Zach.
Oh, sorry.
I'm Zach. I'm Zach, and I went to St. Patrick's the entire time, and I'm just a truck driver. I don't know all this stuff. So, hey.
And you can also find Zach and I talked about the school and what we grew up in on I think the last podcast,
episode 2, I believe that was last podcast.
Yeah, number 3, maybe something like that. I can't remember. I should remember, but I don't. But
you're getting the effects of John's weed.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Zach. What?
I said you're getting the effects of John's weed.
It's pretty strong.
I love that. I thought, like, do you have a cold? He's like, no, it's not a cold. I'm like,
he's got the cure for the cold.
Yeah, I hardly get it. The other kind of sick.
I love that. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. So here's what
we got one more. Hold on.
I got to introduce myself, right?
Oh, yeah, there's another Carrie. Come on.
I know. No. I'm giving you like a.
Oh.
Okay. Because between John and Zach, your name, Cody, came up a lot. And with me too. And that's why I wanted all of us together. So go ahead. It's Cody. We've talked about him in a few of the podcasts we heard.
Well, and that's kind of why I'm here. I saw the other podcast and I saw John and I saw Zach, and they were talking about a lot of stuff that I remember, and I was like, I got to do it, because you've been asking me for a while, and I'm busy. I mean, even tonight, I'm like, I got to fit this in. My wife's on her way to the grocery store right now, wanting me to do the pickup. I'm like, no, if you can do it, I got to get this done. But, seeing these other guys and seeing you and sharing a lot of those memories and everything, I was like, I got to do it. I didn't come to St. Patrick's until the 3rd grade. So kindergarten and first, I was at St. Cyprian's. Then I went to public school in 2nd grade and then went over to St. Patrick's in 3rd grade. And that's where I met everybody when we had Miss Clunan in 3rd grade. So, and she was also my neighbor. She lived down the street and around the corner from me. So,
oh, yeah. Okay. So we were right. I don't know if it was John. We were like, who was our third grade
I have a horrible
teacher?
memory. We couldn't remember, but I was pretty sure it was Miss Clunan in 3rd.
Yeah.
It was her.
Yeah. It was Miss Clunan. And I mean, you guys have all made it out. I'm still here in Lufkin. Okay. So this is, I've lived other places. I've lived in Washington, D.C. I've lived in Memphis, Tennessee. Yeah. So I've lived some other places, but I've always ended up back here. So, so I know you guys, when you get kind of removed and everything, you tend to forget. And Carrie, when you were first asking me about this, I was like, I don't know if there's really anything to talk about. This was so long ago and I don't remember, but a funny story. And I don't know if you have an agenda, but I can go off into tangents, but when you got, it's like you got top billing here. You got John and you got Zach, and there's a lot of great people that we went to elementary school with. It was real small,
There was only 6 more.
Yeah. I mean, what year was it where we were combined with another grade? Was that 5th and 6th?
Yes. 5th and 6th.
And
who
who
like trading grades or subjects off between the 5th and 6th teachers.
Yes.
And who taught us that year? Was that Miss Ponson or was that?
Ponson was 6th grade, and I forget who the 5th grade teacher
Nicholas.
Was that Sister Nicholas? Okay.
The infamous Mr. Nicholas. Yes.
And
But
that's hilarious because I'm pretty sure the three of us were like her favorite targets.
oh, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
I got a funny story about that too. But the first story I have, and this really doesn't go back to elementary school. This goes back to more. So my wife's not from here, but we've been married now. I don't know, 16 years or something, 15, 16 years.
Great.
But when we
Great.
first got married, I wasn't on the Facebook. And every now and then I would, and that was a long time ago. So, it was still kind of an emergent technology, but I would get on Facebook from time to time. And I remember one time I'm scrolling through there and I'm looking up people and I saw Zach Ray was on the Facebook. And then I saw his content that he posted on the Facebook. And I was like, and that day, I'm not kidding, that day, because of Zach Ray, I joined Facebook. And I was like, and he was probably one of my first friend requests that I ever made on Facebook. But I was so happy to see him because I love you guys. I love all you guys. But, Zach Ray, I mean, even in high school, I mean, and I got funny stories about him whipping his junk out at a party and stuff like that. But, I mean, I kept up with Zach for a long time. And now a funny, and I think this was Sister Nicola's story, but I'll share a quick John story too. So John and I, John's a very smart guy. I mean, he's Indian. So, I mean, that tells you everything you need to know right there. I'm sure he's probably a closet doctor and does surgery behind the scenes and nobody ever sees it.
And then,
but
a total oncologist, right? Oncologist.
Yeah,
total.
that's exactly right. That's that guy right there. He's a very brilliant guy. But I remember this from school. John and I both were not exceptional students. So I was always in trouble for not turning in homework, not paying attention. I have, back then, I mean, all these learning disabilities that my kids are diagnosed with, they just didn't exist back then. Okay. So
John's like, yeah.
So I think John and I were in the same category, but this is a true story. And I still remember this about John. And John, I hope you remember this too. I think it might've been Sister Nicholas, but they put out some kind of challenge to the whole class about the top two people that did something for the week, like scored the highest on a test or something. They were going to take those two, or maybe it was just one. I don't remember. We might have tied.
No.
But they said
it was supposed to be a party, but
yes,
it was like me,
that's right,
Cody, and only one other person. So there was no point to have a party. So they took us to like Taco Bell or something.
They took us to Taco Bell, and it was like me, you, and I think maybe Sister Nicholas or whoever our teacher was.
It was a girl, but I don't think she was in our grade. Like
that's right.
She was a year younger than us, and neither one of you or I didn't really know her. But like,
yeah,
she was the only other person out of the grade. It was supposed to be like 6 or 7
a party for
people.
everybody. They thought everyone was going to be at this party.
Didn't make it.
Exactly.
They got B's or C's or whatever. So the two dumb motherfuckers were the only ones to win the challenge.
The two underperforming people were the ones that got to go to the party, and the party was at Taco Bell. And I don't know a better place to have a party.
Zach, do you remember any of this?
No, I didn't. I don't remember anything about.
Well, of course he didn't. He didn't go to the party. He sat back and had to learn. But while John and I are living it up over with Enchiritos.
Oh, yeah, I was living it up. But here's the underbelly of that story. That also conceded where my grades were so low that my parents were calling up boarding schools in India. So like, I really had to buckle down. So like, it was just a perfect storm of me having to get my shit together. Otherwise, I would have been going to school in India. So.
Okay, I guess I was confused. I thought you were saying it was like the excelled like kids were doing this.
No.
It was a party. Challenge. Yes, it was an open challenge. And I remember now that John says it, we were supposed to have this party for the whole class. And it might have been a standardized test. If we all scored well, they were going to have like, say, a pizza party or something. Well, when it came down to the people that I think the only two people that passed or excelled or met whatever standard they had were me and John. And we were the lowest kids in the class as far as academics. John and I were always in trouble.
But you guys got it. You guys prevailed.
So
we knocked it out of the park.
It was Taco Bell because there was only two people.
They literally loaded us up in one car, and it was like whoever our teacher was, this other girl, whoever the principal was. I remember the principal went, and there were 5 of us. Miss Roberts. That's right.
Yeah.
Julie Roberts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got in somebody's LeSabre out in the parking lot. We rolled over listening to K-Fox to Taco Bell. We got some Crispitos and some Enchiritos and some Pepsi because they don't serve they don't serve Coke over there. You can get a Pepsi, but you can't get a Coke at Taco Bell.
Pepsi.
Yeah, we got that wild cherry Pepsi, brah, and we ate at Taco Bell because me and my other classmate that was right there with me as the underperformer of whatever grade that was, we were the only two that scored well enough to go over to the 5-man party.
It was like
That
if you
is
got
awesome.
as long as you didn't get like an 89 in this whatever the time period was, then like you were still in the running. But if you got like an 89, you were like out of the competition. So you couldn't get less than a 90 on whatever grades you had in that little 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever the fuck it was. And only me and Cody didn't get less than a fucking 90 for 3 weeks. It was like, who would have bet on me and Cody?
You know, we surprised them. They didn't think we had it in them, and then all of a sudden, they're like, maybe these guys are smarter than we thought. But I'm sure after that, we went back to being slackers.
Oh yeah, I mean, at that point, I was just making sure I was good enough not to get sent to India. So that's all I was.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I don't remember any of that. Which obviously,
well, of course, I mean, if you would have been there, Zach, you'd remember.
Zach, I'm pretty sure you started smoking weed before anybody. So you know what I'm saying? Your memory was getting jacked before everybody.
That was later on. That was out of elementary school.
But still, I didn't start smoking weed till college. You was smoking in high school.
Well, yeah, but I mean, what are you supposed to do in high school?
There you go.
I was a sweet, sweet boy in high school. I didn't do no bad shit in high school.
I think you were still wearing brown corduroys in high school. Were you?
I was.
I know you wore them at St. Patrick's
up until college.
There you go. Yeah, see?
I absolutely was wearing brown corduroy in high school. Fuck off.
Man,
you had hair in high school. You had long hair in high school, right?
Do you know how many people don't believe me?
Like, yeah, you had long, because you had a ponytail, right?
Yeah, like
Cody
I remember that.
The same length mine was.
Cody, you had short hair in high school, right?
I did. I had short hair. I had short hair in high school, a little bit long in college. Then I cut it again, and then I started growing it out again whenever I hit 40, and that was a long time ago. And my wife's not real happy about it, but my ultimate goal is I'd like to have dreadlocks, but I get it trimmed.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
I always wanted it, but you see mine now. So.
Yeah, I know. And that's the thing is, like, I don't color my hair. So, I mean, this is my natural color. And, my pops turns 74 this coming Saturday. And, I mean, he doesn't color his hair. He's got brown hair,
Tom.
So, old Tom. He's still got it, man. That's right.
Wow.
That's right.
It's not perfectly black, but he got way more hair than I do, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
So Cody, how many I want to go around and introduce ourselves to each other again.
Right.
We didn't know each other, right? I was like 11 years old. So how many are you married? How many children do you have? That type of thing. Whatever you want to divulge.
Yeah. No, it's all good. So I'm married. Like I said, been married for, I think 16 years. She's going to be mad because I don't remember, but 2 years ago, we travel a lot. And 2 years ago, we were on a trip, and it was we were on a long vacation, and it happened to be during our anniversary. And I think my mom texted us like that evening and was like, "Hey guys, happy anniversary." And my wife and I looked at each other and we're like, "Oh, it's our anniversary." So I don't feel that bad because she forgets, how long we've been married to.
Yeah.
But I've got two boys. They are 12 and 9. Again, live here in Lufkin. Live some other places, but this has always been home. As far as other stuff I do, I own a couple of businesses that aren't successful. They're not, highly successful businesses or anything. And then I work full time. I've had the same job for roughly 20 years. And I noticed on your YouTube page that you recently one of the companies that I own is a wrestling promotions company, and I noticed that you had some wrestling content recently on your YouTube. So if you're watching this, be sure to go check that out. At Carrie's one of her other posts recently is she's got some really killer wrestling content out there.
Thank you so much. That's very kind. Yes, it's called Rubber City Wrestling. I just like to film it every time I filmed it twice, and I always mess it up. Ooh, but there's a good about 14 minutes that I was able to get. Like, whatever, we'll get into that. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for saying that. It's very cool. There's another one coming up in January that it's so much fun. It's like this amateur.
So I'm not a wrestling fan, and ended up getting into this business because of a business partner in that business. His name's Chris Ball, but good friend of mine, great guy. But he came to me a couple of years ago, and he's like, "Hey, what would you think about throwing a wrestling show?" And I was like, "Let's do it." And I didn't think it'd have any legs, but because I have another business and have a little bit of business sense, I kind of run the business end of it. He kind of runs the talent and stuff, but we have a producer. But I mean, we brought in like talent. We've had Rikishi, who's WWE Hall of Famer, Boogeyman, Scotty 2 Hottie. I mean, so we bring in some pretty big talent. We do it here in Lufkin. Tommy Dreamer's been here 2 or 3 times. Boogeyman was at our most recent show. I'm trying to think of who else, but you'd know a lot of these names. We had Gangrel was at a show a year or 2 ago. Yeah, so I mean they're pretty big talent. A lot of that heyday, that really good. We had we didn't have Kevin Von Erich, the nostalgic, and that's what we're shooting for. But we didn't have Kevin Von Erich, but we had Ross and Marshall, who's Kevin Von Erich's kids. They came and wrestled. So we've had a really great run at it. We're gonna we've cut back on our shows just because they're very expensive, but we kind of do it pretty big. Pyrotechnics, light, sound. We're streaming on a thing called Title Match Network, which is a pay-per-view platform for wrestling. So Tomahawk Professional Wrestling, if you guys ever want to go check it out, there's some content out there. So.
Expo Center? You do it at the Expo Center?
We do it at the Civic Center because the Civic Center is air conditioned. Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, got to be air conditioned, climate controlled.
I love it. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. I was a younger girl. I loved like all the wrestling. Like I would watch that with my dad. Oh, Ronnie. Macho.
And that's what a lot of people
like. It's just so much fun. It's just so much fun. So that's really
that's
cool.
what people tell us all the time is they come to the shows and they remember going to shows when they were young with their parents, and now they're our age and they're bringing their kids, making those same memories with their kids. And that's what's motivated us to keep doing it. Sure ain't the money.
Absolutely. Yes, I saw Hulk Hogan and all that. I did.
Oh, yeah.
It was great. All right, so Zach, tell us.
I'm married.
What are you doing? I know you are busy. You were hard to like get down.
Just drive a truck.
Hard. You're busy.
I mean, I work 5 days a week and I'm in a truck most of that time. So, but I drive for CVS. I'm a drug dealer. So
where do you live? Are you still down in the Houston area?
Yeah, I'm in Houston.
Okay, you were driving a truck. You were driving a truck back when you lived in Lufkin in like the late 90s, early 2000s. You were driving a truck, weren't you?
No, I didn't start driving.
No, you were doing pharmaceuticals back then, weren't you?
Yeah.
Pharmacy tech. Yeah. And then you went to Colorado and you were driving a truck out there, right?
Yeah, I drove a truck out there and then I came here.
At some point over the years where you were driving, I knew that's not a surprise to me. I knew you were doing that.
No. I've been in the truck since 2001. Give or take.
Okay, yeah. So you've been doing that.
I've been in a truck for a while, but I mean, I deliver. Texas and Louisiana are pretty much my areas that I frequent. And married, got 2 kids, 19 and 17. No, 20 and 17. I don't even know my damn kid's age. 20 and 17. My kid just turned 20, and then my boy is 17. So
yeah,
awesome,
man. That's I don't know. I find that amazing. Like, I know you say you're only in this little like area that you travel, but like, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Well, I'm 2,600 miles roughly a week.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean it's
I hate driving like 30 minutes to my job. Like
you get used to it.
So annoying.
Yeah,
like
you get used to it.
I don't know if I could. All right, John.
If I need a nap, I just crawl in my bed. It's behind me. So,
That's funny.
Cody knows how to drive. He drives a big old RV or whatever. What's that thing called?
It's a 4 travel, so it's like it's the size of a bus. It's 42 feet, weighs about 55,000 pounds loaded, and so I mean it's a lot of mass.
He's a rock star.
I don't know about
Rockstar.
that.
He drives one of those Rockstar buses.
Yeah, I don't know
Like
about
Motley
that.
Crue
I
back
wish.
today. Yeah,
I
girls.
think
But
that's,
you know,
that
we-
is what they be riding in.
We roll a lot. You know, I had a fire last summer in it, so I haven't
Yep.
had it for about 6 months. So we're waiting to get it back. That's a whole other story in and of itself. But we are going nonstop, and to not have it for this long has really, you know. And I mean, you guys, I don't know if y'all remember. I mean, one time when we went to Camp Cappy, I think my parents, you know, we had motorhomes back whenever I was in elementary school. My parents did, and my grandparents did. So I mean, I've been in them all my life, you know.
Yeah.
So
You know what?
it's just
my
part of it.
my family did too. We had like a little weird mobile home. I swear to God, maybe I'm wrong. You cranked it?
Pop-up
and then the
camper.
thing-
Yeah, pop-up
Probably a
camper.
pop-up
Yeah,
camper.
yeah,
Yeah.
We would go to Galveston.
yeah.
That was like my parents' version of like luxury
Oh,
vacation,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Woo! Their dream, like maybe one day we'll go to Houston, but no, it was always Galveston. But I had a lot of fun. I try to describe to my family alligator gars.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm
Yeah.
not making that word up, right?
No,
No.
not at all.
Okay. I remember like they would wash up on shore, right?
Yeah.
And I was with a bunch of friends, and we're like throwing rocks in their mouths and like shit like that. There was 3 of them, and we're like, "Wow, look at them!"
Yeah.
And then like we're just standing there, and I swear to God, I saw one of the. It blinked, and I was like, "It's alive!" And he like took off, like. This is insane. Like I remember that. I'm like, you guys never had like a.
Well, they come up for air and they roll a lot in the water, so they might have just got too shallow and rolled
What the
into
heck
the
were
shore.
those
So
things? What were those things?
they're big fish.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it looked like an alligator gar.
It's got a face kind of like an alligator. They're ugly. They're terribly ugly. I mean, they're
right.
they're not
But is
easy
that
on the
really-
eyes
They
at
don't
all.
taste very good either, I've heard, right?
No, you don't. They're not really the type of fish you want to eat.
The backstrap I heard is not bad.
It may
Again,
be.
I
I'll let
don't
you be the
know.
judge of that.
I don't
I'll
know.
take
I've
your
never
word for it.
tried Hey,
But
years
is
ago, I
that
heard the
really
fish
a word,
fillet
or
was
is
that. I
that
don't
just a
know.
nickname? Like
No, that's. I
No,
mean, I'm
that's
sure
the
it's got
name.
its own genus species or something, but
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
that thing's
Um,
commonly known as
Okay.
alligator gar.
yeah, that's
Okay.
right.
okay,
Yeah.
because they look at me like my family looks at me like I'm nuts. I'm like, no, I'm telling you, they were caught this, and they look like alligators, but they weren't alligators. Like they were weird. They were weird.
Wait till
That's
you
what
show them a
you find in
nutria rat.
Texas, man.
Ask them if they know
Oh,
what a
yeah.
nutria rat is.
Texas. And cockroaches about this big that fly.
Yeah.
You guys ever had those?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I go to India, so I've seen all that and worse.
Oh yeah, you. I'm gonna
Oh,
do this.
yeah.
No, I don't. Yeah.
That's a pretty one.
I've seen
Yeah,
spiders bigger
It's a
than
real
my
beauty.
hand.
So what, John? What?
I've seen spiders in India literally bigger than my hand, like
Nope.
and fast. Like how something that big can move that fast is
Ugh,
crazy.
nasty.
Yeah, no, thank you.
We would get our house like we called it bombed,
Yep.
where
Mhm.
you guys get it, right? But
Yeah.
people they don't get it over. You know, you had to set off like the
Yeah,
toxic shit,
you
Yes.
can't be in your house for however long. Yeah,
and you couldn't come back inside for like a certain amount of hours.
4
And that
hours.
was because
Yeah.
the cockroaches were this big, and we could see that. Ooh, oh, nasty. People don't. Thank God I'm in Ohio. I hate bugs, and that's probably why I cannot stand any type of. Actually, I don't like any type of like creature that's outside. Like I like a dog and a cat if it's mine, but other than that, I'm scared to death. Yeah. It's the truth. It's the truth. I know you guys think I'm joking, but I'm not. There's an actual term for it. There's a term for it. It's a phobia. Anyway, there is some stuff, man, like that happens in Texas that doesn't happen in a lot of places.
it's
Oh,
its
yeah.
own country.
True.
Yeah.
The bugs are. We would eat dinner and we'd look up and like there'd be all these little bugs.
Oh yeah.
You just
Oh,
got
yeah.
used to it, and it would land maybe on the table, and you'd be like, right? When we first moved there, we were like, ugh, like we came from, my parents moved from Chicago. Think about that, from Chicago to Texas, right? Inner city Chicago. And so like a bug, they would fall on their plate or something like that, and they were like, I'm done. At the end of it, we were like, whatever. You just scoop it
Yeah,
out.
it's just a
Like,
bug. Yeah, you get used to it. Yeah. You're not gonna have a picnic or anything here without
I
bugs
don't
being
remember
invited.
bugs falling on my plate at my house.
I'm sorry. I didn't say it again.
I said, I don't remember bugs falling on my plate at my house.
Well, we call it where I lived in the country. That's what we called it, the country, because we were like off of Moffett Road.
Oh
It was
yeah,
like-
you were out in the country. Yeah, it's still the country.
Okay. I thought maybe I was being snotty by calling
No,
it the
I
country.
mean you might only been 2 miles from St. Patrick's and from Zach, but and John lived over. John lived right around the corner from Zach.
Closer to St. Patrick's than Zach did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, did you live closer than Alan, or did Alan live closer? Because didn't you and
had the
Alan live
house
close?
right next to me that was closer to St. Patty's.
Okay, so y'all live next door to each other, right?
Yeah.
Do I remember that right? Okay.
Yeah.
And was that just coincidence? 2 Indians live on the same street right next door?
Because when our parents came
It
to
was so
Lufkin,
sweet.
they were all living like this. There was like a host family, and she lived.
Okay.
My mom, Alan's mom, younger Jason. He was in a grade younger than us.
Yes, Jason. What was his last name?
Joy.
We used to give him a hard time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like him. You know, Jason Joy. I remember that dude. Yeah, I remember him from like after high school or something
But
too.
like,
you
all
know?
our parents came together, and so I'm sure they like. And Jason lived like between me and Zach. So I mean, like,
Yeah.
and then Matthew Alexander, he lived across the street from Zach.
Koshi and Matthew. Yeah.
Yeah.
Zach, I'm
Okay.
sorry. What'd you say, Zach? I'm sorry.
Koshi and Matthew lived right across the street
Yeah.
from Alexander, and they went to. Didn't Koshi went to St. Patrick's, right?
Yeah.
Or no? I thought Matthew, because Matthew's younger than us.
Yeah, Matthew is 1 year younger than us.
1 year. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
All
Koshi
right.
is 1 year older than us.
Right.
So, okay. So, Cody, you said you didn't start to the 3rd grade, and I was there at kindergarten. John, I think you said you were the same kindergarten.
Yeah, I've been there the whole time.
Yeah,
Zach
me too.
Right?
Whole time, yeah.
The whole time, right? Now, I'm sorry, Cody. I don't remember you being with us until 6th grade because you were like the class clown, right? Like
I don't know. I just kind of sat there and did my own thing.
Some extra trouble. Like Zach, please describe it when it was like the teachers would leave and they would say, "Don't talk, don't look up from your desk.
Yes.
You do not." And the minute, of course, we're going to, right?
They would threaten you,
Zach,
yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
timing. Zach, I want you to explain.
Well,
the timing.
Cody knows.
And Cody always messed it up.
Well, Cody knows one of the, because that's one of the times that I threw a pencil at him.
I watched the video where you were talking about that, and it's funny because I remember getting assaulted and stabbed and almost dying and losing my eyesight.
Look,
what grade was that? Was that what grade? Do you remember?
Pencil?
I don't remember if it was
Sticking
5th or 6th. I mean, it was one of those. It was 5th or 6th.
It was sticking out of my head.
I was like, oh.
And I still have a scar. And whenever I saw that and you told the story, I went in the mirror and started looking for the scar because I used to know where it was.
Right.
And I remember them having to kind of dig the lead out of my head after that happened.
Brain, yo.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to get in trouble when she came back in the class. That's really all
yes,
it was.
Yes, I want you to
the
start.
time is
I
up.
want you
Let's
to
go.
start
We
from
got to
the
be
beginning.
quiet now. You
Do
know?
it. I want you to start from the beginning because you told us so eloquently.
The thing about getting in trouble in school that was always risky is there was always that little threat that the public schools kids didn't have, and that's that we could die, that they may kill us,
Yes.
that they may get so mad.
You're going to be hurt. Yes. If they catch you, you will have some type of pain. Yes.
I remember Sister Nicholas digging her claws into my arm and lifting me up, or pulling my ear out of my desk. And I thought at times that I could lose my life that day, you know. And then when Zach almost tried to kill me with that pencil,
Cody,
it was a dangerous place.
That pencil was sharp.
Dude, when she and I did our first St. Patrick's episode, something that I guess because I was young and didn't know, she said Sister Nicholas was drinking.
Yes, she was.
Oh, I don't doubt it at all.
Yes, she was.
And
Right.
you know, when Miss Ponson left to go down to the teachers' lounge, she was down there smoking.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
That's my hunch, you know.
Yeah. Oh,
But,
she was.
yeah, they were probably drinking and smoking at school, and they might have had a roulette wheel. I don't know, you know.
that
no, but
does
like
was drinking.
she was
Yeah.
like, but
I
it
know
makes
she was
her
drinking.
behavior makes so much sense.
Oh yeah,
If you think like when you're like, oh, she was fucking drunk and mean.
Yes.
oh yeah. I mean, I remember at Friday Mass one time we were there when we would go to Mass in the morning, and whoever the father was at the time, I remember he didn't show up, and then I remember hearing the teacher saying he's sleeping one off. You know, he had gotten drunk the day before.
Probably
And,
Linehan. Probably Father Linehan, to be honest.
It might have
with
been.
you.
I don't remember.
No,
it's
when I was
Linehan.
21, I saw Father Linehan at like a Chili's or something, had a beer with cuz.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well,
It
he
was
used to come to
him.
my house and
Zach.
so yeah.
Zach, when we talked, we couldn't. It was Linehan. We talked about having a beer. It was
Linehan would come
Linehan.
down to the house and have a beer with my dad.
Yes.
Yeah.
But before,
And he would smoke a cigarette out front.
please talk. I want you to talk about. I know. I'm sorry. I need you to talk about the pencil.
So the whole ordeal with the pencil basically is teacher leaves. It was Miss Ponson. Miss Ponson leaves and says, everybody be quiet, sit on your desk, don't move, do your homework or whatever we had to do.
Don't look up
And
from your desk.
She leaves.
Right.
So we all know you have a certain amount of time that you can kind of talk and make noise or whatever, but you just kind of have this feeling of, okay, it's been too much now. So then it's everybody's like, all right, she's coming back. And
I am.
Cody, and I don't remember what was going on that day, but for whatever,
Y'all were throwing
Cody
the
was
pencils in the ceiling.
Oh, is that what? Maybe that
We might have been. Yeah.
That's
You were
probably, I
both
remember
doing
that
it.
part.
You were both doing it.
I remember it got to a point where I'm like, oh shit, it's gone on too long. She's gonna catch us. And Cody was still, and I was like, hey, and I don't remember what I said. I just remember saying something because he was across the class. I remember saying something, and he kept, and then I just tossed a pencil, and it stuck in his head. So yeah, and then I still got in trouble. So it didn't matter. I mean, I got in trouble for that instead of getting in trouble for talking. So
It was embedded pretty deep too, because I mean, it wasn't like it hit my head and bounced off. It's like
stayed in there.
It hit my head, and it's like, this pencil lead in my head, and then like 22 inches of pencil hanging off of my head that was so deep that like it didn't even sag down and like undock itself from my head just due to the sheer weight of the pencil. It was like stuck in my head like, this may be a surgery situation. I'm not real sure,
I just remember, that motherfucker looked like a unicorn. That bitch was just standing
That's right.
so straight
Yeah.
up off his head.
Hey,
Like,
that's
sometimes
right.
you gotta leave it in God's hands. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's
Yeah.
St.
Yeah.
Patrick will take care
it was
of
just
it.
like,
Yeah, I mean,
it was like perfect. It was like a perfect throw.
I think that's what they did. They came in and they threw some holy water on me, and then it came out. And it was just gone. Yeah. But you had, like we've gone over. I mean, we had little India in there, so we had all these doctors in there. So John probably was able to remove. Yeah, that's right. John or Alan, one of them were able to remove it, and now I'm healed because of the holy water and because I got the India connection.
There you go.
There you go. See,
Good people.
We didn't know how lucky we were. Now that's gonna go into our next subject, Sister Nicholas. We didn't know how lucky we were, so let's go transition into that subject. All right.
She was just
as you
mean.
said. When I talked to Zach, I'm like, she had some weird FBI, like it had to have been like trained FBI, CIA grip. How can a woman that small and petite be able to, with what, 4 fingers, bring you to your knees?
The power of Satan, I imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Now I remember one time, and I think it was because what we had Miss Clunan, Sister Nicholas, and then would we have Miss Ponson twice?
We had Ponson twice.
So that completes 3rd through 5th, 6th through me. Yeah, because we were in that combined class.
Grades. That's
and we would
because
go through
I
that
swear
door.
to God,
Fifth and
I
sixth had a
swear.
door.
Go through that door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
swear
I
I swear that happened because Nicholas, she drank a lot. Like she would there was a drawer and she would like put it in a coffee cup, or sometimes she
See,
just
my naive ass didn't even think to look at shit like that. I just
pull,
thought the bitch
pull
was
up
evil.
pull up the picture from fourth grade. You got the picture from fourth grade? I mean, I'll
have
show you why she was drinking, but she had this student teacher or something that was another nun, and I think it was Sister Nicholas, or maybe it was just someone over there that was, practicing to become a nun. But I remember, and this was a story I mentioned when we were doing our intros that I was going to tell, and I just told my wife this story about a week ago because I got a birthday coming up and I'm getting old. And
Christmas the day before, day after.
3 days after, Kathy Quillen's the day before.
Okay. I
And
knew y'all were right there, but
we're right
You
there together.
remember?
And
you
yeah, well,
remember
Kathy Quillen was my best friend. I mean,
I barely remember
like
my
my
birthday.
very
she
best
was
friend.
yes, she was a close friend of mine too.
Yeah.
Maybe we hung out with I did a lot of dirt bike riding with Kathy.
You did that at
Maybe
Zach and Max's, probably.
Max. Did you say the word Max?
Max
Max
Dickinson lived
Dickinson.
next door
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
And we did
The
have dirt
blonde
bikes and stuff
dude?
over there.
Oh, yeah.
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 He did exist.
Yes, he did exist. And I mean, I'm not gay, but he's the most beautiful man you've ever seen. So,
Oh my God. I have told my husband, I swear there was this boy named Max.
Yeah.
yes.
He looked like River Phoenix.
He didn't go to school with us, but he was
No.
Zach's next door
he
neighbor.
was so freaking he was, oh my God. I was in love with, oh my God, he does exist.
Everybody was. Who wasn't?
He had that long hair what do they
And he had
call
dirt
that?
bikes, and he was hung like a horse. I mean, all this stuff he had
I
going
don't know
for
about
him.
his wiener, but
I don't either. I made that part up.
But
But
I was
he,
like,
That was
I
in Cody's
told my
dreams.
husband,
Yeah.
like, I told my husband,
no, he was a cool dude. He's a
There
cool
was
dude.
this
Yeah,
boy
he
grew up
was
named Max,
everything I
man.
wanted to be at that point in my life that I
right? Who didn't want to be Max Dickinson? He was he was what, a year or two older, about a year
He
older
was
than
a
we
year
were.
older than us. Yeah.
No, I just remember one time he pulled up in his dirt bike and he said, "Get on," and I was like, "Oh my God!" And I went riding with him, but I was like, he is fantastic. Like the whole sweep of the hair, he was blonde, and I was like, he looks like River Phoenix. Like, oh my God, thank you so much for validating, because I thought maybe I'm imagining this man, this boy named Max, that I was like,
No, that was
He was not
that
real.
was my
He was on
neighbor.
Saved
No,
by the
he's
Bell.
not a mirage. He was he was
He was a
dreaming.
character on Saved by the Bell.
That's right. That's right.
well, I saw him as River Phoenix. So, oh my God, go ahead with your story. I'm so
So
happy
we
about
had
that.
this nun that was, I just remember, and I hope she did this and it wasn't just me, and maybe this will spark a memory with one of you guys. We had this nun at St. Patrick's that read palms. Anybody remember that?
No.
Keep going.
Okay. So I think she was either like a student teacher over with us, or maybe just helped out. But I remember being in the cafeteria one time, and she read my palm, and she told me that I'm only going to make it to like 60 years old, and I'm staring down the barrel of 50. So I mean, the hourglass is running out.
Was she young?
Yes, she was very young.
Short?
Yes, she was short.
Long curly
Okay, I
short hair.
vaguely remember this now that you talk about it.
Long term.
Yeah, but she was a nun, but she like did some stuff like, which I can't imagine what would be more against, and I don't know, I have never studied to be a nun, but because you kind of got this element of witchcraft and tarot cards and reading of palms and stuff mixed in with Catholicism. So I don't know, but I do remember having my palm read in the cafeteria at St. Patrick's Catholic School when I was in the fourth grade, I believe, fourth or fifth grade. And
She was cute too, huh?
Did she have long brown kind of curlyish hair?
That's what I'm
possibly.
Picturing. That's what I'm picturing in my mind, and I think she was pretty.
Yeah, I think she was pretty too. Yeah.
Okay. I'm recently moving, and I found a recent picture of me in my first communion. I know that's young, but there was a woman, and I'm like, I kind of remember her. Maybe it's her. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I'm gonna bring it on.
First communion would be Sister Raphael, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's first communion.
Yeah, she was there.
Yeah.
But you're saying this was someone in addition to Sister Raphael.
Sister Raphael was old.
She is.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, you know how you have student teachers? It was almost
Yeah.
like I felt like she was like one of them. But
That's
she was
exactly
very
what this
kind.
person was. She was somebody that was in and didn't stick
I'm
around.
vaguely
You know.
remembering that now.
Yeah. Yeah. So if
I'm gonna
the
grab that picture. I'm gonna grab that picture and I'm going to show you or whatever. Maybe it's the same person, maybe it's not. I don't know. But go ahead. Sorry, with your story. Go ahead.
No, that was it. She just read my palm, and I was telling my wife the other day, as I have this birthday coming up, I've only got a few years left until if the prophecy comes true of the nun that read my palm in the 4th grade, then I'm staring down the barrel of the hourglass. The sand's running out of the hourglass.
That's huge that she would even do that.
I don't remember that at all.
Huge.
No.
She picks Cody because he wasn't really a Catholic. That's what it was.
That's what it
You
was.
remember-
I was bad.
You
No, I was
remember-
never. I never went to CCD. Never got confirmed. My mom was Catholic, so I mean, I was raised kind of Catholic.
I wasn't.
But you're
my
right.
parents
I
weren't
never.
Catholic either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I need to show. I'm sorry. I'm
Okay.
old with this. Oh, I'm so bad at this. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Look, there's me and
Isn't that
There's
you,
Kathy.
Cody? Hold up.
I'm up there in the stripe. Yeah, that's
There's
me
me.
and Zach and John. Right, look, the three of us
Yo,
are right there,
no.
three
Oh,
abreast.
Together.
And Kathy
Yeah.
Quillen.
Kathy's on the
And Kathy Quillen, and what is that? Melissa Masters. Yeah,
Yep.
Melissa.
Alan Moses next to her.
Alan Moses.
Jose
and then you got
Diaz.
Isn't that
Jose
Jana
Diaz.
Clunan?
Jana Clunan's in there. That's Jana Clunan.
She's not our grade.
She wasn't, and I don't know why she's
Why she's in
there.
our picture?
Yeah, I'm not real sure. That's a mixed class. That's a mixed class there.
Help me
Probably.
figure this one out.
That's got to be 5th or 6th grade.
There.
I think his name is Aaron.
Okay.
Lewis.
I think his name is Aaron.
I remember him. We thought he was
maybe
snotty. We thought he was a little snotty.
I don't remember him.
Yeah.
I don't remember Aaron.
Throw
This is,
throw that back up there.
This is 5th and 6th grade. Let me
Okay,
zoom
so
in
that's
here.
why.
Yeah, we're in 5th and Jana Clunan's in 6th.
Yeah.
No.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm
That's
horrible at this.
Aaron. You lost it. That's Aaron up on the top left. I forget who that guy is down there. Yeah, that guy next to Grant McClure.
That's Aaron. Yeah. That's Aaron.
Aaron, I
Left
forget
next
his
to
last
Brandy.
name. Brandy Dwyron, is that
There you go.
okay?
Yeah. I tagged her
And
on
then-
Facebook and she deleted me on this picture.
Oh man, that stinks.
I mean, it's part of it.
Yeah. So that was Aaron up there at the top, and then on the other side of Grant, is that Brenda?
Yes.
Who is that on the other
Brenda's
side?
right
Okay.
there.
Okay.
Next to Carrie.
Yep.
There's
Next
me.
to Carrie with the hair. Yep.
And then Jose's on the corner.
Yeah.
And then Jose's on the
okay, here we go.
corner.
Jose.
Gosh.
That's
Boy,
Jose.
Jose
Yeah.
Diaz. That motherfucker was a wild boy in 6th grade.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's incarcerated
Yeah,
now and has been for a while.
I think
His
he's still
family
locked up.
was wild. Yeah. Wasn't his sister Maria?
No, that's
No,
Lewis.
that's Dela Cruz.
Dela Cruz.
Yeah. Yeah, Maria.
No,
so
no,
No, you're right. Aguilar.
No,
He had
Maria-
a bunch of other
yeah.
brothers though that did go. Did
There was
go-
All right, here's
Samantha.
Samantha Aguilar and who was it?
Yes,
Juan
Samantha.
and Aguilars are good people. Those
Yeah, they had
those
a bunch
guys,
of
huge
Aguilars.
family.
Gone
I
there.
don't
Bunch of them-
many different
yeah.
years.
They weren't
There
too
you go.
far
Little
from us in
focus
all
on
reality
Zach
where they
and Cody
lived. They
there.
just lived right up.
Yeah, Maria and
They
them
lived
didn't live
over-
very far either, yeah.
They lived over by and I think did we go to school with Bo Barrett?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bo
Why is
Barrett's
that
dad
name
owns
familiar?
The
That name's
the gas
familiar to
station.
me.
the
Bo
gas
Barrett.
station, and then the Aguilars lived across from Barrett's By and By, which was around the corner from Costin. Yep.
Look at
Bye,
this.
bye.
Look
There
at
you go. There
three.
you go.
Look at
Yeah.
you three.
Oh, you had a little long hair there, Cody. Look at you.
I did. Yeah, I used to have a
did?
rat tail, which drove Sister Nicholas crazy. But you got to remember, my mom worked for Ellis Audio for 14 years. So, the people that I was always around, very musically inclined,
Right.
into the stereo and the electronics and stuff. There was no Best Buy. It was
Yeah,
Ellis
yeah, yeah.
Audio back then. And all of them had long hair and rat tails, and they had boats and, did all this looking back, it was a lot of fun. But
Your
you
mom
know,
had a Forerunner back then, I believe, in those days.
she had a Maxima,
or something like that. She had
and-
a truck or something, and you flip a switch, and the subs would come on in the back.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she had the
was,
subwoofers, and she
yeah.
was the first person in Lufkin with a CD player in her car.
Oh,
So, yeah.
I
Y'all were
must have
fancy
been
over
moved
there.
away, baby.
Which was funny because she had a CD player in her car, but there's nowhere in town you could buy CDs. So at the time, so
Jack's only sold tapes, so yeah.
the Jacks only sold tapes, and we had one of those places in the mall, and they only sold cassettes. Now, of course, all of it took off and came later, but I remember that was the pain point. It was the first one that they'd ever got in, and they installed it in Mom's car, and we had the CD player. And then when we finally started getting the CDs, she had the kicker 12-inch subwoofers, and all this stuff, and I mean, it would jam out.
Yeah.
Mom was rocking back then.
My dad was way into like the new electronics at that time. He had this like it was kind of thin, and it was like it was a disc, but it was big, and you would like shove it in the machine.
Oh, it's for your television.
Yeah, it was almost like the first like DVD.
It was called a laser. It was a
laser
disc.
disc. Laser disc.
Yeah, and hey, get this on the laser disc. The picture was great. It was like a DVD player, no Blu-ray.
It was a gorgeous picture.
It was a gorgeous picture. You got to flip that thing over halfway through the movie.
I was gonna say,
I did not know that.
My
yeah, you got to flip that thing over.
Yeah,
it wasn't compressed. It wasn't. We didn't have the compression that we do with a DVD in the modern time. So you had to flip that bad boy over halfway through the movie.
My dad, because he was. I'm gonna say Italian, right? But he was, but whatever. He loved The Godfather, and so he had that on Laserdisc, man.
That had to be like 5 discs, and you had to flip every one of them.
But it cut off at a pivotal moment of the movie, and he was like, "God damn it!" Like he, and he had to get another one and stuck it in there. Oh,
just put the VHS in. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's right. Just don't forget to rewind it before you take the rental back.
Don't forget to rewind.
He held on to that thing.
Take it back.
Years. He held on to that thing for years, and he even tried to get it fixed in the 90s. He did. He's like, it doesn't work anymore. You think you can fix it? He held on. But back then it was.
You know why? Because he probably paid $3,000 for it back then. That was emerging technology. It was a big deal.
Yeah, my parents had a satellite, and when I say satellite, it was as big as the room I'm in.
The big one.
C-band.
Yeah.
We would change the station, and you could hear it from inside the house.
Moving.
Yeah. You could hear it move. Like, oh yeah. This is amazing.
Y'all were rich then if y'all had that.
Oh
thing.
yeah.
Come on now.
Absolutely, and they lived out in the country too, so yeah, that's right.
We had just a little.
That's right.
Antenna.
Carrie, how did
2 to 9?
Carrie, how did you end up from Chicago to Lufkin?
My father works with a company called Chromium Corporation.
Oh, I worked there in 95.
You guys remember that?
I worked there.
Oh yeah, over on Spence Street. Yeah.
Stop it.
Right down from the Expo Center.
Right?
No, they closed it down. It's no, they went out of business or closed it down, or the parent company that owned it has another facility somewhere. Yeah.
When he was like a young boy, 18 years old, he started working there, like in the plant, and then he worked his way up, and then he was like, "Oh, you want to be plant manager?" And so they were like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Well, you can go to Lufkin, Texas." And so he's like, "Yeah, it's the most money he's ever made, right?" Yeah, we're going.
Fuck wherever we go.
That's awesome. That's
big
awesome.
blue building, right? Wasn't it a big blue building?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it was blue. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I worked there.
Yeah, the building's still there, but it's I think one of the local big landscaping outfits uses the facility now to kind of stage their operations and store rock and stuff like that. So
wow.
yeah.
Oh yeah. He was there until like gosh, I'm probably getting it wrong, but late 50s, mid 50s, something like that. And then you know how it is. Like he's in his, yeah, they're gonna get rid of you, get some younger people in, right?
Right,
Because
right.
my dad was old school. My dad was old school. Like you could still yell at your employees. You could still be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Right?
Yeah.
That was
The
my
good
dad.
old days.
But
The good old days.
that you guys even know what that
Oh
is.
yeah. Yeah, it was like American Chromium or something like that, or I forget what it
Chromium
was.
Corporation, yeah.
Chromium Corporation of America or something. Yep. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
It
right.
was one of the better paying jobs you could get in the
Oh,
Lufkin area. In all
and
reality.
Lufkin used to have a lot of good jobs like that. You know, a lot of the industry
Entry
here
level,
is
yeah.
Well, the paper
Yeah.
mill, Texas Foundry,
Oh my
Temple
Exactly.
God.
Inland was in
Lufkin
Diboll.
Industries,
Lufkin,
Lufkin
yeah.
Industries.
Yeah.
Chicken
Yes.
Company, whatever the fuck that was, like
Pilgrim's
Pilgrims,
Pride. They're still
yeah.
around.
Pride.
Pilgrims is still here.
Pilgrim's
Yeah.
still around.
Like
Yeah. Now,
what was Lufkin Industries? I remember hearing that name.
It had to do with my dad worked. Hell, all the Indian dads worked at Lufkin Industries.
okay.
But like it's like oil production was their main thing, but like they also did trucking and shit like that. So it was multi.
They built trailers. They built the 18-wheeler trailers, but John's exactly right. They did the oil pumping units that you see, and back I don't know, probably 20, maybe 15, 20 years ago, they got bought out by General Electric, and then General Electric closed down the Lufkin Industries part of it and did some consolidation and stuff. They basically bought out a competitor and shut down a lot of the operations, which was devastating for Lufkin. Now, John, was your dad an engineer? No, I didn't know. I didn't.
My dad, I remember I knew he worked at Lufkin Industries, and I knew some of my friends' dads worked. I remember when I asked him, he was like, "Yeah, I'm a tool washer." I went to work with him once. He literally would take these tools, put them in this big ass little machine.
Wow.
Oh, we lost John.
That's all right. He'll come back. There he is.
Sorry, I had a call for a second, but
so
he would just wash tools in a little machine, and he would just literally did nothing. It was like a union. I mean, it was like.
That's all right. He'll come back.
Anybody can do that. A monkey could do the job my dad.
So, all right. Yeah, so that's how I got there.
Okay.
And the reason we left and moved was because of that. My dad got transferred again with the same company.
Okay.
That's why I ended up in Ohio.
Okay.
Same thing. He just got a little more on the, a little more corporate type of thing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, that's how I ended up there, and that's how I was able to leave. It's
okay.
wild.
How old were you when you came to Lufkin?
5.
Okay. And John, were you born over here?
I was born in Lufkin.
Okay. Wow. Awesome. I love going down this history because I've known you guys forever.
Yeah.
But I don't remember,
Unlike
it's been a long time.
I fucking remember when Cody Cody was so different than everybody else in our class. That motherfucker stood out.
So was Zach. They just both were.
But Zach to me was like furniture. He'd always been there. It's fucking St. Patrick. Cody
and that's
up
the
in third
thing
grade,
is,
and this motherfucker's radically different than everybody.
Yes,
yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
When I came over, it was very different because I didn't know anybody and I wasn't Catholic.
Did you not even know Kathy? Did you know you didn't know Kathy at that time or no? Or yes?
I'm trying to think if I even knew Kathy.
Because I thought that's how you got there. In all reality,
Kathy and I lived close to each other before she lived over close to the school. She lived on Hemlock, which was around the corner from me on Donwood. So she lived over closer to me and Jamie Jenkins and Israel Cole. If y'all remember, he didn't go to school with us, but you may know him from the community. But anyway, Bart and Casey Carr's grandparents lived around the corner from us. So we had all these, people. So I may have known Kathy back then before I went to school. And I'm thinking I might have just through the neighborhood because even though I might have been in first or second grade, things were different back then. So, it wouldn't have been a thing for me to bounce out of the house and not see my parents again till later that night,
Yeah. So
You know, things that I don't let my kids do now, and they're much older than that. I mean, back then,
Right.
you know, I mean, it wasn't a big deal to like, all right,
Oh,
I'll
Yeah.
be home for dinner.
Are
Yeah.
you
Right.
kidding? My parents would throw these parties, like I never do that with my kids. Like people like I'm talking parties. I think Zach, did we have a conversation about that? Like
We've talked. Yeah. About the parties and
yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
like they always had these big parties and like drinking and whatever, like right, all this like craziness. But yeah, I get it. I never did that to my children ever. Now look, I probably scarred them some other ways, but oh my gosh, like my parents threw these big parties.
What else were you gonna do in Lufkin? In all
I
reality,
mean,
there wasn't
I
a
think that's
nightlife.
pretty much the experience lots of people had. I mean, even in like Indian people didn't go out, but they would do the same thing. They would have these parties at somebody's house, whether they were playing cards or it's a birthday party or whatever, but all the parents are drinking. You know what I'm saying? Like,
isn't that wild? Do you think it was because they had to do it inside? Do you think it was like,
I mean, like for us, it was just a community thing. It's like, I mean, like they didn't feel comfortable going to a bar or a club, but like, so now all like what little Indian community is there together. So they're, you know, just, they feel comfortable because they're around other Indian people.
You know, that's wild. I think I spoke, I know I spoke to Zach and I probably spoke to most of my parents' friends that I remember hanging out with. They were either from the church or they were from the Knights of Columbus. But those parties, they weren't there. It was people like different, right? So they could like be like, woo, we got some debauchery going on. Like, right? That's amazing. I never thought about that. But most of our interactions and hanging outs was with people from the church. Yeah. Halloween we spent there, Christmases we spent there, Easters, all that. It was like a thing set up in the cafeteria. Yep. All those things, you know, like Zach, you said you remember seeing a priest like dress up as the Grim Reaper. Like,
yes.
Yeah, that was Father Bob.
No, that was
Father Bob.
That was John. I think that brought that up.
Fun. He was so fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was how it was for me. Like most of the people my parents hung out with were people from the church, and the activities I did was with the church. Other than that, it was Knights of Columbus. When I first moved here, and I'll be real quick because I want to hear you guys' stories about that, honestly. When I first moved here, I was so sheltered. I was 12. I was 11, turned 12. And it was Halloween. And I was supposed to take this little girl out to Halloween. I didn't know what to do. I went out. I went to a few homes, and I came back. And they're like, "What are you doing back?" I'm like, "Well, I don't know what to do." My parents, it's the truth. My parents at 12, I was 12. They had to go out with me and show me how to trick or treat. That's crazy. I was 12 years old. My kids. Are you kidding? They were like, woo, like, get me out of here. Like, that's wild. How did any of that, and I'm not dogging on anything, but I would just love to know, like, John, like, let's go in order. Like, John, any of that affect you, like, when you left that school? I know you talked about, like, Dunbar, but, like, that was a huge adjustment for me. I was very sheltered in that school.
I mean, but I was sheltered until I got to college. Like, I mean, like my entire childhood, you know, high school is like, it felt like a damn episode of Saved by the Bell, like, you know what I'm saying? Although I wasn't the cool character, but like,
but were you Screech?
Like,
come on now, were you taking your Screech?
yeah, I was probably Screech. So like, but like either way, it like there wasn't no serious. I never had any serious problems. Like I get to college and I start talking to different people, and like they tell me about their life. I'm like, God damn, like shit.
Right. It's a totally different world. Were you still in Lufkin when you went to college?
Well, I mean, I went to college at Stephen F. Austin, so while I was on campus, I'm 30 minutes from Lufkin. So.
Oh, okay. So yeah, like, but all these other, are you saying like all these other people have these like different experiences, and you're like, what?
Look, I can't like. I mean, I can't speak for Cody or you or like whatever.
No.
I can pretty much know for the majority of like the Indians that I know, or even the guys that were on my block. Like most of us had this very sitcom-esque, like, no major problems. You go home, you go to school, you play for a few hours, you go inside, you don't do your homework, do whatever. And every day is the same as every other one. And then I meet people like at college, and I'm like, man, my parents are doing drugs and I'm getting jumped when I'm coming home. I'm like, fuck. I mean, like, that ain't nothing like my.
Yeah, no.
And that's what I meant. I didn't mean Cody or Zach. I meant like the people you went to school with. Yeah, that's interesting, right? What about you, Zach?
Everything. I mean, like John said, it was all pretty cut and dry. I mean, we did the same thing. You go to school, you come home, you play, do whatever with the neighbors, and then you wake up and start again. It wasn't nothing crazy. I mean, there was some fights and stuff here and there, but it wasn't. Most of the time, it was brothers fighting and stuff. I mean, just kids from the neighborhood, but it would be like brothers would get in an argument. I don't know if you remember Chris Womack and Boo.
Yeah, like nothing traumatic, nothing over. Like you're gonna be friends tomorrow type shit.
Yeah. It was, I mean, it was nothing. But I mean, where we lived, I think was not. I mean, it wasn't that wild and crazy in all reality. I mean, it just wasn't there. I mean, I think it is now. When I got in high school,
Tony, were you an altar boy?
No, I wasn't Catholic, so
he wasn't.
Yeah,
but
I was an altar boy.
Yeah. But you
like,
did communion and stuff, right? Or no?
Zach?
No.
I did, but I mean, but we're Christian. We just weren't Catholic. I mean, like,
same here. Yeah.
But like, I can remember like when I get to college and people are asking me about going to Catholic, I'm like, nah, ain't no priest trying to touch me.
No.
Yeah.
I never got that lucky.
I was like, I don't think the priest liked Screech, so I mean, I was safe. So.
I know that's always their first, like, whatever. Zach, you said you were an altar boy, Zach?
Yes,
right?
I was an altar boy.
I knew Zach was. I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember if Cody was.
We had to carry those candles down and then stick them in that little plat or whatever, that little holder or whatever. Yeah. Did you ever drink wine in the back? Did you ever get a little? Yeah.
Yeah, so like you had the little. I forget which one it was, but they'd have a little bit left. You'd be like.
You get a little swig in the back to see what it tastes like. You got to make sure it's still good. So it's. I mean,
make sure it's not the blood of Jesus still.
Yeah. But I did the altar boy. I don't know, probably 3rd grade up until 6th, maybe, give or take. I got to crown Mary. For
you did?
Me and Melissa Masters.
Wow.
Yeah, we got
remember that
somehow or another, and I have a picture of me and her standing next to Mary. But
we
got to
see John and I were at Taco Bell that day, so we missed it.
Maybe that's where I missed the Taco Bell trip because I was crowning Mary. Or is it crowning Mary? I don't even know what I was doing. It was something to do with Mary. Was it crowning? Was it?
Of course, yes.
I remember. Yes. I don't know
something to do with the wreath or
context,
maybe?
but I do remember what you're talking about. Where you putting the crown on her head? I do remember
Mary.
That.
That's
it was
huge.
something. It was something to do with that. But me and Melissa did it.
Yeah.
So, but
That's
I mean, I did everything that I guess. I mean, I think every guy did like altar boys. I think. I mean, Cody didn't, but I mean, I think
it was a lot of the boys in like, at least in 5th and 6th grade were altar boys.
They all did.
Like, well, and I mean, I wasn't an altar boy, but I mean, I did things like I read at church, when we would do readings and stuff like that. When we go to Tyler, you remember sometimes every now and then we'd go to Tyler, I'd get to like play the bell or something.
Okay.
There's like a whole bunch of
That was
bells.
the nunnery thing, right? Or not the nunnery, but the convent or whatever, right?
The diocese.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now,
so
let me ask you
that was the
something,
big
Cody.
church.
With you not being Catholic, was there ever did they ever pull you to the side and go, "Hey, you can't"? I mean, was there ever?
No, man. I mean,
or could you? I
could have done what I wanted, but I mean, I did. I did pretty much everything but take communion. I did Stations of the Cross with everybody. I go in and do the holy water. Everything.
Did you get the ashes? You do that?
Yeah, I got the ashes. Ash Wednesday, absolutely. Yeah. and fish on Friday, stuff like that. I mean, I was all about it. I mean, it was a great experience. I loved learning it. It was very cultural. I think it was great to, I think it was a great thing to learn, and I'm happy for it.
Yeah, I just couldn't remember if I didn't know if they maybe, because there weren't many. I mean, in our class, you probably were the only one that wasn't Catholic.
I think it was me and maybe one other, maybe.
No, wait, Alan was Catholic, but my family wasn't. We were Christians, but our denominations were not Catholic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was a thing or what. If they
we went.
Yeah, they always treated me equal.
Cool.
We went to St. Patrick's every Sunday until about I was in 7th or 8th grade. Then my mother's denomination started doing a church in Lufkin, and so in that point they started going to that church. But up until that point, I mean, they were just like Carrie said, every Christmas, every Halloween, every Easter, every Sunday, but every function and everything else, we would be at St. Patrick's, along with every other Indian that had kids that went to St. Patrick's.
Right.
Yeah. John, where do you live now?
I live in Dallas or Carrollton.
You're in the Metroplex. Okay. Are your mom and dad still here?
They live in my house now.
Okay.
Now,
no, that's
they're
awesome.
in India right now. But yes, they moved here about 5 years ago. They lived in Lufkin up until then.
Wow. Okay. Man, that's awesome. I bet you enjoy that.
Sure. We'll go with
One
that.
day you will. One day you will.
Well, I mean, I appreciate it.
I know
it's not the greatest, but I do understand it because I didn't see them very much most of my adult life prior to that. So and now they're getting older, and so they need help with different things. So I don't have to just hear about, I wish I had somebody. I can actually help them with those things now.
That's good.
So.
That's great, man. Yeah. That's great.
It's wild that you guys bring up Cody, I had no idea that you weren't Catholic. John, same thing. I was shocked. I thought, well, you have to be Catholic to come to school. I never realized that non-Catholics could be.
Now, I think my tuition was more
between Christian and non, and or Catholic and not. To me at that point in my, and plus I went to all on the weekends when I would go visit cousins in Houston or Dallas. We'd go to their churches. So, I mean, in my mind, Christian is just the umbrella term for it all.
Wow. Cody, did you just say that you thought your tuition was more?
I think for non-Catholics, I think the tuition was more.
Do you remember what it was?
Do you remember what it was? It's not non-Catholic. It's a matter if you were on the tithe system at the church or whatever, a member, your tuition to the church was cheaper.
Gotcha.
Tuition to the
school. Yeah.
If you were an active member of the church, and while we weren't Catholic, my parents were on the tithing system. They were on the yearly whatever due thing. So we got that discount for attending the school, and we were never Catholic.
Yeah.
Do y'all remember what it cost to go to school there?
Gosh, I wish I bet my mom or dad would. And y'all's parents may too, but I'd have to ask. But
I think it was $75 a year. I really do.
I think it had to. And again, I was on a different tuition system than everybody else. But
I won a scholarship.
You might have a scholarship, but I'm pretty sure
I got a scholarship, and I could afford it said 75. But maybe it was 75 a month. Maybe I just got the numbers. But there was 75 was involved, so maybe that was the monthly fee, which I don't know how we.
Sure.
So
whatever.
I'm pretty sure there was a monthly tuition fee.
Yeah, so maybe
then,
that's the 75.
And if you had lunch, cafeteria lunch, that would be an added cost in addition to your monthly tuition.
So maybe that's what it was. Yeah.
Do y'all remember those small cardboard manila little wrapper up that was you have to take your tuition to school, or I did sometimes. Maybe your parents might have dropped it off in the office, but
I don't remember. I don't remember paying
my parents never trusted me with money, so yeah.
I mean,
John, they knew you were going to go through. They knew you were going to take your money to school.
My parents did that so if I fucked up, then they could yell at me. So that they would tell. My mom's favorite name for me growing up was number one useless. So I don't think she would actually trusted me to do anything. They were just setting me up for failure so they could yell at me.
So we were talking about lunch money and stuff, and it made me think of a story, and I remember this too. I remember one time at school, and John, I hope you remember this. We had something going on where we all brought food from home to school for everybody to try.
Oh, I think
And
I
either
remember.
you or Alan brought curry chicken, and of
I
course,
brought
me
chicken
being
curry.
you brought chicken curry, and I'd never had chicken curry, and I still like chicken curry. That's the first time I ever had it. Didn't even know about its existence. Still remember the way it smelled,
Oh.
but I remember you bringing that to school and trying chicken curry for the first time and it being delicious. Your mom's a very good cook, by the way.
Yeah, my mom was
Please.
real mad because that was just like she had just made the dish, but it was not like a caucasified version. So like she would have much rather made a version that was less spicy than the one I did, than the one I brought.
She's gonna kill all us white kids, you know.
Yeah, I don't know how many people in my life have tried to eat my mother's chicken curry, and she'll I'll have to make a different version for you. Hold on.
I remember I had curry chicken at your house, John.
Yeah,
I came over
I'm sure
one
you had it
day.
all the time living across
Yeah, I
from
came
Matthew
over
and
one
them.
day and had chicken at your house. So, but I mean, I still like hot food. So yeah, I mean.
Oh yeah, I mean, like some people either you do or you don't. I mean,
Yeah.
like I gotta put sriracha on anything that's
Yeah.
not spicy. So
Yeah. No. Yeah.
I don't remember any of that. Maybe I was already gone. I don't know.
When did you leave?
Well,
After 6th, right?
I was 11 years old. Zach, you said we combined the 5th and 6th grade.
5th and 6th. You went to 6th grade, right? And then that was it.
Yes.
Correct?
And then we moved. Yeah.
Yeah.
but
So
we
your
had
7th
a
grade was at the
normal
new.
5th grade, right? Like it was just normal.
That's how. Yes, it was.
Like we didn't.
Mr.
Oh, when we
Nicholas.
were in 5th, we didn't switch or anything, right?
Correct.
No, I think
Mr.
our
Nicholas.
5th grade. I think our 5th grade was mixed. So we
It
didn't
was
have
because
okay,
that's why the photo
the
that she
picture,
has
right?
Jana Clunan in it, and some of those kids.
When we got to 6th grade, they started doing
That
the switch
was
to classes crap.
right. Yeah, I think that
Okay.
6th grade is when. But
Okay,
we
that
had
makes
like
sense.
a normal.
All right, that makes.
We
sense.
weren't sharing a class with nobody else in 6th grade, so to say.
Yeah.
We were. I don't
It
think
was just the 6 or 7 of us, or
Well,
however many there
they
were.
had a
was like
lot more
combined
kids.
it.
That, like there were a couple of a few kids that were added in 5th grade that we didn't weren't in their 4th grade class.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they had a large 5th grade class that they didn't have the year prior.
They combined that 5th and 6th grade. And I think that's why, like Zach, right? Like that's how you were in with that. I was in 6th grade, you were in 5th. I don't know why that happened. Probably because Sister Nick was like,
I think they lost a teacher. I'm guessing.
I do.
Because
Either they lost
just
a
didn't-
teacher, or the classes were too small to make. You know, because they were pretty small
think,
class size.
Because I also think it was like Miss Ponson did certain classes and then
Right.
wasn't in certain classes. So I think that way Miss Ponson could do like the more, like actual education shit. And then
Right.
the other teacher could do, whatever other history and health or whatever.
Yeah. I think it was honestly because after that, I don't remember Sister Nick being there. And I don't know. Like I know I talked to you, like she was a drinker, whatever. So maybe that's what it was. Maybe I do remember, I told you guys, I do remember her being escorted out of the classroom. I don't
remember that.
Yeah,
I wish I did.
Yeah.
That would be, I mean, that would be interesting. I don't remember that.
Brenda's like, oh yes, I remember that, right?
But
I
see,
remember
I'm so naive, I may just not remember it. That you know.
You mean
I just thought
was she escorted out of the?
Nick, is she leaving?
Because
was she escorted out for good? I mean, was that her last day there?
No. I think what she said is it was just she was drunk that day.
She just got a little too drunk
at school.
I do remember them like going, "Come on, come on!" And you know her voice. She was very petite, and she was like, "Don't you touch me like that!"
I wish I remember this.
You do?
No, I wish I did.
You don't? Oh God! No, I know it happened. Because I remember my mother even was like trying to talk to me, but like, well, let's try to, your teacher got. She was trying to like, smooth it over, and not the principal, her secretary came and sat with us. Like
I don't know
how they knew she was.
I think her name was Norwood.
I don't
That's
remember.
The secretary.
Norwood. I think that was the vice
name
principal.
sounds familiar.
maybe the vice principal or an
Miss Norwood
admin
was
or
the vice
something.
principal. Miss
Yeah.
Roberts was the
Yeah.
principal.
Was the
Okay.
principal.
Whatever
Yeah, Norwood
title
sounds
they
familiar.
gave her, whatever title they gave her, it was like the second in command.
Yeah.
I remember her sitting with us and then another person coming in. But we were,
My
of course,
parents were very pro Miss Nicholas, so like, you know.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Because
I
she
remember,
set you straight. That's why.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't
Oh,
rem-
they like
I don't-
they
yeah.
were like, you can beat him some more if you want.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I don't remember who escorted her out. I just know it took at least 2 people.
Wow.
She's feisty.
I
That
would
doesn't
love
surprise me.
I would love to know her entire story.
I know, me too.
I
Me
wonder if
too.
she's still. She can't be around anymore, right?
No,
I mean, she
she's
was.
gone.
I mean,
Okay, okay.
I don't think evil ever dies, so it's quite possible.
Oh yeah. Hey,
I love it. I think, who was it that I told that I traveled from
you
Texas?
told me Texas to Chicago. I think you said right.
My parents loved her for some reason, even though she was.
Oh yeah, you know me too.
She
But
was
her
so-
and your brother didn't get along. Her and Kevin did not get along, right?
No,
Yeah.
my mother had to get.
Cody,
in
do you
them.
do you hear this?
This is news to me, but
She went on a family trip
Yes, I
with
did.
Sister Nicholas.
Yes, I did.
wow. I had no idea. So y'all were tight.
When she told me this, like my heart sank to my. I was
Yeah.
just like,
I
could
couldn't
not
imagine walking on
right?
eggshells the entire
Yeah.
time.
Oh my God. Yeah. So I don't remember
sounds
what
like a
her
horror
family
movie.
was.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
would travel from Texas because we were from Chicago. So we would go on vacations and we would always, whatever vacation, whatever.
And of course, she's a Yankee.
It
Yeah.
it took over 24 hours. And some reason Sister Nick wanted to go visit her family. I don't recall what state, but I do remember my parents. One, they adored her, which I don't understand why, because she was so mean to my brother, where my mother had to get in between them to they were hitting each other. Like,
Oh shit.
what? But whatever. Okay. Like, it's nuts. Anyway.
That's water under the bridge.
We're in the bridge. Anyway, yeah, she was with us for over 24 hours. We dropped her off at her relative's house. She traveled with us. She slept because we had like it was like a suburban, but it also had like a camper type thing. So it was just crazy. And I remember
That sounds, I'd rather get stabbed in the head with a pencil. Doesn't sound like fun.
One, my brother was horrified. I remember my brother being very upset. He was angry. I remember that. I felt a little uncomfortable, but he was angry.
Hell no.
Right? And she
all the times that I got called in front of class, boy, I would not want to spend no amount of vacation time with that lady. Like, I'd be either trying to get lost or kill her one.
Right? Like, isn't that crazy? Zach, you asked me, I think once, was she nicer? She was nicer.
I figured she would be. I mean,
because she hadn't had no drinks.
Or maybe
or she had extra
I
drinks.
don't know what it was. I think she was an alcoholic, so she probably had to have those drinks.
Yeah, she probably take a little sip of grandpa's old cough medicine.
Oh yeah.
No, but she was nicer. She was very cordial. I do remember that. Very kind. She was kind, and she was sweet, and she was like, "It's okay. You can come sit next to me." I remember her saying that.
Mm-mm.
We were afraid to.
I mean, I remember being really personable with my parents. Like, I was like, who are you? Where's the lady that makes fun of me in front of class for fucking 30
right?
minutes?
Yeah,
Exactly.
you and me both.
I remember her telling my brother, "It's okay, Kevin. You can come be next to me. It's okay." But he was like, "I don't want to be near you." Then that's wild.
I mean, me and Carrie talked about this.
My parents loved her. They loved her.
Me and Carrie talked about this. Do you remember when like whenever she'd call me in front of the class and I'd put my fingers in my belt loops? Yo, she would just lose it. And like she's like, "What are you, a farmer? Like Farmer Brown?" I'm like, lady, what do you want? Where do you want me? Like, I don't know what to do with my hands. Like, what do you want me to do?
What,
Well, she would always give me a hard time, and you know, from that photo that you showed earlier, I had long hair. I mean, not it wasn't as long as it is now, but I had long hair, and she was always telling me that I needed to cut my hair. She did not like the long hair, and I remember her always giving me a hard time. At one point, it was fashionable because it was the 1980s, but I had a really long rat tail, and that's what she couldn't stand was the rat tail.
Zach, you also had longer hair, but yours
Yeah.
was different. Like you were like kind of like the skateboarder type hair dude.
Yeah, I had like a little
Cody was
overhang,
different.
and
It was different.
I had like a little overhang, and then it was long in the back.
Overhang.
And at one time, it was shaved like right here, but then the overhang. Yeah, it was.
But then, like Zach was, but in high school, Zach was like a hippie.
Yeah,
I thought Zach was so damn cool in high school.
Yeah.
Oh, he still is the coolest, man.
Man,
Yeah,
I was like, well, I want to be. I was like, I'm trying to be like Zach,
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
He was the coolest.
I've had short hair for a while now, so.
Nah, you're right. He was the coolest. Like he was
too cool for school, boy. Like,
he was,
or too cool for cool.
He was cool, man. Like he was a skateboarder. He looked like, you're right, the overhang. I couldn't think of that earlier. It's the overhang. Yeah.
Didn't you used to have gauges in your ear?
Yeah. Yeah.
What happened to those?
I just got tired of them.
But I thought that didn't grow back. Or they?
Do they?
Oh, I don't know. We lost him. I think it disconnected, Zach, when you took your pods out.
Things died. Can y'all hear me talking?
Oh, I got you. Yeah, no, I can hear you now. Yeah. But yeah, I remember you having those gauges.
Forever, and then it just kind of was like, I wanted to go bigger. The wife was kind of like, no, and I said, well, then I'll just take them out. I mean,
okay, I see them now.
In my ears, they won't grow up. So, but they're still there.
I used to have a chin piercing, or what do you call it, labret piercing.
Yeah. Yeah, and
he had one. He had one below the waist too. That's the one he whipped out at that party out in Etoll that one time.
I had two. I had two down there.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, that was at Wyndham's house.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Yeah. I had a few parties like that.
Oh yeah.
And I was the sober one. But hey, whatever. I mean, I really didn't get all drunk and stuff. I was always the sober one.
I was too. So I was right there with you.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I mean, I partied in high school, yes. But once after high school, I still don't to this day. I mean, I just don't really partake, I guess. I would rather smoke weed than anything, but I can't. I'm a truck driver.
Yeah.
I can't pass the drug screen. So
yeah.
I just kind of choose. I don't know. I don't choose to do anything. I just don't do it to save my job. So.
And if you guys look, I'm okay. If you want to share, fine. Like John, do you partake or whatever?
Oh, he's right there the whole time.
I've been using it on the show. I don't know.
I wanted to be respectful. I love it.
I mean, I live a life where nobody drug test. Like when COVID happened, I had to go back to work for a year or whatever because my DJ gigs had dried up. But I used fake debt. I mean, I don't need to drink, but I need to smoke weed every day. But I also have I'm 47 years old, as I'm sure you guys are the same age. I have arthritis like a mofo, and if I don't smoke, my hands and joints, if I don't smoke every day, they ache like crazy. And when I smoke, it's like I don't have arthritis.
I get it. No, I get it. I get it. And yes, I'm 48. Yes, I totally get it. 100%.
I mean, I've been an artist and everything. I've used my hands my entire life. So these joints are war thin. And if it wasn't for THC, boy, I'm sure my life would be miserable.
I love it. And there's no judgment. There's no judgment. You guys, I put it out there. Yes, I was an addict on some rough, heavy drug. I'm not going to say because YouTube sometimes doesn't want to.
Sure.
100, right? I was for a little while, so it's been 7 years. 7 years.
How many days? How many days is that? You're supposed to know days. Come on now.
I don't know the dates anymore, honestly, which is a good thing.
How you get a chip if you don't know the days? You can't get a new chip.
I don't do that AA stuff, but I do a lot of therapy. A lot of therapy. But I guess that's kind of like why I wanted to start this and talk to you guys, because and I'm not trying to make it heavy, but it's like a lot of it comes back to these moments, right? And so I want to explore that, and I love that you guys are happy like in those moments. It's wild. I know.
Oh yeah.
I know I sound weird, but
No,
you asked me, like, I don't look back at my, like, I'm an atheist today, and I don't look back at my time at St. Patrick's as detrimental or traumatic, or you know what I'm saying? Like, I actually like enjoyed my time there. It is part of the reason I am, like, because of you, Cody, like, because of my friendship relationships, I am the person I am today. So I don't look like, I don't have very many bad memories from it. So it's like, and I say that as a person who does not believe in God today.
Yeah. I love that. I really do. I'm glad that you have that peace. I really do. And I think this is part of why I'm doing this. I want to have that peace, What about you, Zach? If you want to answer, I don't want to put anyone on the spot. I really don't.
About what?
Just like how you feel about your experiences there. Like, does it make you happy? Like,
St. Patrick's was a blast. I had fun at St. Patrick's. I mean, even though I'm not a religious person myself currently to this day, I mean, I haven't really partaked in any of that in forever, unless it's a funeral, I'll go to church. But other than that, that's really it. I mean, I didn't get married in the church. I didn't do, none of that stuff. But I mean, I don't look negative on the years we spent doing all the religious stuff. I mean, it was never, but I think Catholics are kind of open, and they're not no dancing, no loud music, they're just kind of like, yeah, this is what we teach or believe. But I mean, have some drinks, go dance. It's fun. It's not they're not strict. So there's nothing, I guess, negative about it, And then once I got into where I was doing a little partying, I didn't really go to church. So it never really had any guilt about, I shouldn't be doing this, I mean, the only guilt, I guess, with church would be maybe dating some church girls. And you would have to go to like church with them sometimes on Sunday, and you're like, last night we had a good time and now we're sitting here, so that was always kind of weird. But other than that, no. I mean, it was never. St. Patrick's was good. Now, I do think there were some things that happened at St. Patrick's that some public schools didn't. Do y'all remember the circle, cross, cross? Y'all remember that?
I know the term circle, cross, cross, but I can't remember what it's associated with.
And then to open your hand, you had to like grab an ass or slap an ass or something like that. And then you would go like, I would go to Cody and go circle, and then he would have to go. It was a game we played. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird. Don't get me wrong. It's kind of weird to think back, but yeah, it was a game that we played at recess.
A game where?
At recess.
Like between each other. But I remember the phrase, but I can't remember the game.
I'm not surprised. Yeah.
I mean, we had the little I mean, we'd be like chasing girls. I mean, you'd be like running, chasing them. But it was a game. It wasn't.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, it was. Don't get me wrong. There was some other stuff that was going on too, that I think was a little touchy-feely at school. And I talked to other people, and they're like, "We never did that in elementary." I was like, "I don't know. I just maybe followed the leader."
Do you remember Jose Diaz humping all the girls in sixth grade?
Oh yeah, every time they'd bend over. Yeah, and he'd yell doggy style, and then he just
Dude, he was out of control.
He was out of control.
Sixth grade.
Bruh, he was out there.
I do remember that.
But
probably because you were on the receiving end at some point for his antics in there. But
no, I don't know. I didn't go to public school in elementary, so I don't know if that. I mean, I'm sure it did at some point. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure we weren't just. But I mean, what? I don't know. I didn't go to public school in elementary. I just know that
You're right.
Or
we don't know.
Our class, as small as it was,
you're right.
It was just.
You're right.
we were open, I guess. We're open to, and where we
So
learned it, we didn't have the internet. I don't know. Where did we pick that
I
up?
guess that's
You're right.
I guess that's
You're
part
right.
of my unique experiences. And the year before I came to St. Patrick's, I did go to public school for 1 year.
Costin?
And
You go to
yeah,
Costin? Yeah.
I went to Costin, and I walked there every day from the
Okay.
Forestry Museum.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'd walk there today, even at my age, but still. So, it was very different because, a lot of the people I think that sent their kids to St. Patrick's wanted better for their kids,
Right.
Wanted a better education, wanted, different things for their kids than what public school offered. And I think that was the big difference from going to public school for me. And because I was in private school, pre-K, kindergarten and first, public school second, and then back to private school third through sixth.
Right.
And then I know y'all talked about it before in previous episodes, but going to seventh grade for me was a shock, bruh. I mean, it was nutty because, I think it was even mentioned, Kathy Quillen was one of my best friends. She lived around the corner. We did everything together. We went on family, I'd go on her family vacation. She'd go on my family vacations. We were very close. But she had her softball, and when we got to,
I was with her. Did we ever go on vacations together? Because I would go with her as well. That's weird.
I don't think so, but we'd go to Galveston in the summer for a week or so, and I remember her, and sometimes even her little sister Mary Ellen would.
Yes.
I think she even went with us one time. But we got to seventh grade, and Kathy and I did stuff almost every day together, just because of the proximity where we lived, and we went to school together, and all this stuff, and then in seventh grade, she kind of congregated more toward her softball friends. And then, the other people that I knew, it's like everyone was kind of going their own direction, and I was just nowhere.
This is hilarious because that is literally the same experience I had in seventh grade. Other than Alan and because my next door neighbor, but we had the way Dunbar was. There's a road that ran in the middle of the thing, so half the classes are on this side, half the classes are on this side. So maybe you are still close with your friends, but you may never see that motherfucker have a different lunch than that guy. And then I remember half of Dunbar basically just at lunch or whatever. I was just on my own because I didn't have a friend group for the first half of the year.
Right, exactly. And then I guess we all went back over to East after seventh grade.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is back then we didn't get into high school until ninth grade back then.
10th grade. We could
10th. That's right. High school, 10th, 11th, and 12th. That's right. So, by that time, I mean, I'd gotten to know a few people that had gone to West just through some mutual friends and stuff like that. But, I mean, and I think seventh grade was tough. I think eighth and ninth were a little bit easier,
Oh, yeah. Like some, because I mean, I don't know if y'all remember probably getting picked up, but I remember the second day of Dunbar, I'm where I'm getting picked up, all on one side of the street, all the Mexican kids are walking the same direction. The other side, all the black kids are walking the same direction, and they're about to go have a huge fucking fight in the little park down the street. And all the Mexican kids are looking at me like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm on nobody's side." I was like, "Yo, hold up. I'm just trying to go home. I didn't know we had picked sides of what street the brown kid was walking on versus the black kids. I didn't know I didn't get the memo. Woo! I was just I was not prepared. From St. Patrick's to what do you get, gang fights? I was not ready.
Are you talking
that's
about
too
when
funny.
you crossed? Yeah, I remember you telling me about that. That's crazy.
It was a culture shock. And then 8th and 9th grade at East was back to fucking,
it was
Bayside High.
back to, because you had all the Burkalo and Crown Colony kids over at West. So it was kind of back to what we knew at St. Patrick's with the people that lived
all the people
in our
that lived
neighborhood.
Basically near us all went to high school with us.
Sure.
Or junior high, rather.
Junior high, yeah. It was a lot different, but it was a shock. But my experience from kind of echoing what everyone else said. I mean, my experience at St. Patrick's was it was great. I mean, I have fond memories of my childhood, no regrets. It was a lot of fun. I really didn't like going to Stations of the Cross, but it was long.
Yeah. Easter
But
time sucked. Easter
yeah,
definitely sucked.
that's
Brutal.
right.
Did you guys
But
ever have to go to like a mass where you had to like kiss like the crucifix on his feet? Like,
You don't remember us going to Stations of the Cross and stuff?
oh, I remember that. That was brutal. But I remember going to a mass where like they took the crucifix down with Jesus on the crucifix, like down. And it was like, whoa. And like you had to go there and you got on your knees and you could either kiss his feet or you could kiss him on the cheek.
I don't remember that.
I didn't do that.
Yeah, I had to do that shit.
I wasn't invited.
Yeah, I didn't.
Anyway, go
This
ahead.
must have been all the
Cody.
cool kids.
Yeah. Me and John were at Taco Bell that day.
Real cool.
Yeah.
You need an extra church, Carrie. That's why I was saying.
Yeah, no, we didn't. They that was part of your repentance when you went
Yeah.
for confession. They said
Right.
you had to go over here
Better
and
believe it.
That adds up.
It probably was. Anyways, I'm sorry, Cody. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying. I mean, kind of like everyone else said, it was a lot of fun. I mean, no regrets. I think really the only regret after like kind of being back together with you guys, I wish I would have kept in touch with you guys. I mean, John went to SFA. I went to SFA. Now I went to SFA for a semester and then dropped into. I was there 7 years at SFA between Angelina College and SFA. It took me a long time.
Yeah,
to
I
finish
should have been
college,
a doctor. I should have been a doctor as long as I was at SFA.
right? Yeah, you and me both. So I graduated SFA in like '01, and after graduating high school in '95,
like everybody we went to high school with that I was friends with that went with me, they all dropped out second semester freshman year.
Is SFA a college? I don't remember.
Yeah, Stephen F. Austin University is in Nacogdoches.
Nacogdoches, yeah. So, like, I wish I would have known John at SFA. Like, I wish I would have hung out with him. And Zach, Zach and I kept in touch. We used to see each other after high school and stuff, just around town until he moved to Colorado and then moved back and everything. But I hadn't seen that dude in person in a long time. Yeah. But I do, keep up with these guys on Facebook. Been watching John's content for a while, and Zach's always, wanting to
hilarious
and stuff, yeah.
You don't drop as much shit as he used to, but boy, you were right, boy. Zach used to drop some shit that would crack me.
Oh yeah, dude.
Me too. I would be like sometimes be like,
oh, like I said, I joined Facebook because of that guy.
It's just so good. It's
only
so
many times your mom can send you a message and go, Zach, and I'm like, okay, I'll stop.
All right.
Yeah. I follow her. She follows me on Facebook, so it's sometimes,
Yeah.
I've never let my parents.
She wants to know what her baby boy's up to.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, it's I think the last time I saw you in person, Cody, was at the reunion.
Probably.
15-year reunion, something like that. Somewhere around
high school or what?
High school.
Yeah, it was like a 15-year reunion, high school in Lufkin.
Which I didn't actually go to I'd say I did. I didn't really go to the reunion, but I kind of popped in at the back door at the end of it because there were a few people that I wanted to see. But that's the thing is, like, I think we were with a group of people, but, I hung out with people all weekend that were in town. Robin Bowers, certain Julie Stratton, a few people that were like in town. Hillary
Myers, or I don't know her.
I couldn't remember what her name was then, but
name is currently
yeah. But there were certain people that and I think we ran into each other through those mutual groups. But that's kind of my thing. I mean, believe it or not, I'm actually a pretty private person. I don't socialize and get out much. I mean, I was, I love to be the life of the party long time ago when I was younger. But now that I'm older with kids and all that stuff, hey, I just kind of want to do my family thing, keep to myself. I love seeing people and I'm a social person, but I don't make that my goal. I'm not trying to trying to go out and do different things and stuff. But, it is good to see good people like you guys,
Do you still do the car shows and write the columns for that, or no?
I still write for a magazine that I've been doing now for, oh gosh, since about 2013. So I've been doing that for about 12 years. It's freelance work, but I mean, it's the only magazine that I write for. And I just do it a couple of times a year because I've got all these other things going on. But yeah, I still write for the magazines and everything. And it's, it's a lot of fun, and the car auctions, the collector car auctions. And,
well, and that's what we've talked like through Facebook and stuff is just, you're doing something to a Jeep. You got, that wagon, you got stuff like that. So we've kind of chatted back and forth.
Yeah, with, that's right.
Different vehicles and stuff. So,
Yeah, hit me up on that stuff anytime because I love to talk cars with anybody.
I got an El Camino I'm playing with now. So yeah.
Do you really? What year?
83.
Nice. That's awesome. That is so cool, man.
And you need to tag me in that wrestling stuff, Cody. I might have to come bounce out to Lufkin one of these days.
You'll definitely have to check it out. It's Tomahawk Professional Wrestling. So check it out on Facebook. I mean, that's where most of our presence is. We're old, so we don't do a lot of Instagram and TikTok. And then we've got a little YouTube channel that we started, but we just kind of post some highlights and some intros and stuff like that. But like I said, we've had some pretty big names come here from that you'd recognize for sure, and some up and coming talent that are regional, and some of the guys we had at some of our early shows have signed big contracts with some of the big guys. So it's kind of cool that, I mean, it's not because of us, it's because they run the circle.
Y'all got to see them on that.
Yeah,
show. Right.
It is. Yeah.
So it's called. I'm really interested. It's called Tomahawk Wrestling.
Tomahawk like Professional Wrestling, like a tomahawk. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's like a Native American tomahawk. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's way cool, man. It's a lot of fun. I mean, we do it for the community. We do it for the kids. We do it to bring people together and have a good time. So
yeah,
it's not a money-making thing. It's not, trying to seek any kind of notoriety or anything. It's just been something fun that we've been able to do for the community. And that's always been our focus. So it's really cool.
That's great.
Y'all had 2 shows?
So much fun.
No, dude, we've had like 9.
Oh, okay. Total. I guess I just remember the 2.
We only do 2 or 3 a year, and next year we don't have. We're looking at doing one maybe September of next year, just because for me and my partner that do it, I mean, we're basically doing what, like if it was a social organization that was doing it, like say Lions Club, Knights of Columbus, whatever, they'd have a committee that puts this on, and it's 2 dudes doing it, Yeah. And I mean, our payroll for the night of the show is between 70 and 80 people, so I mean, we're having to direct a lot of people and a lot of moving parts and things like that, but it's really cool. It's a lot of fun, and it's a big production, So.
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah. The one I went live on YouTube recently, and of course the video all screwed up, but I mean, it really brought a big crowd.
There's people that are really into it.
It's fun. It's just fun. You know what I mean?
It is. It
really is. That's really cool. That's wild that like you're part of that. That's really wild. Yeah, I had.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and I love to see what you guys are doing. I mean, I'm really interested in what you guys do, all of you. So, yeah, this has been a lot of fun.
It really is. I have just a few more questions.
Sure.
And then we can wrap it up because it's one last question. But Cody, let's start with you. I was kind of stalking your Facebook stuff, and I didn't know if this was true or not because you're always joking around. Do you really know? My one last question to you is: do you really know Mandarin Chinese, or is that
No, I don't. But I'm infatuated with other cultures and languages. In fact, that's why I was asking John questions earlier. And I hate that I don't know it because I've known John since the 3rd grade. But I'm genuinely curious. We travel a lot. My family travels a lot. Most of it's domestic because we have the RV and everything. But I'm very interested in other cultures, traveling to see as much as I can see. And again, most of ours is here in the States, but every time I go to Vegas, there's a Mandarin Chinese channel on most of the hotel televisions. And I love watching it just to see what the other cultures are doing. And, they love Western culture, the Mandarin, the Chinese culture, they love our culture. And I love to watch it just to see, it's funny. They have a music video channel and I love watching their music videos. Can't understand a thing they say, but usually their choruses are in English, but the verses are in Mandarin or whatever, or whatever. It's like part of it's in English and part of it's in another language.
That's how
But
many
to me,
Chinese people are gambling there that they got channels for them. That's wild.
yes, absolutely. Oh, it's a huge thing over there. A lot of stuff done in even the Western casinos that are
That's
very
right.
Western
A lot of the
themed.
casinos are now being bankrolled by a lot of those Chinese corporations. That's right.
Those guys come over here with money that we just can't even comprehend.
Yeah, can't even fathom.
Can't even fathom. So yeah, but I mean, and talking to John and asking him about when his family came over and things like that. I mean, I'd love to have an offline conversation with him more just about his family heritage. I mean, I was genuinely curious how they ended up in Lufkin, and just like John reminded us, there was a little pocket of an Indian culture, and he was talking about changing churches when his mom's faith came to Lufkin, and I want to ask him. I don't know what her faith was, but I want to know, but I don't want to hijack the conversation and go into this long thing. But I mean, I love, and I wish I knew from back then more about his culture. I remember the curry chicken. It's delicious.
I love that. I love that. And one, I just had a feeling that you were full of BS when you were like, I know it fluently. I'm like, I have to ask this question. I have to. And I even told my husband, I'm like, I don't think he really knows it, but I'm going to ask him this question. It's just good. I love that, the fact that you don't know it. I love that. And yes, of course, I would love to know your history, John. Absolutely. It's so interesting, and that is part of like why I started this. I just think like people are so interesting, and
I'm super infatuated with other cultures, and always have been.
I had this brilliant idea.
Other people, like I just love other people. Everyone has a story, and the fact that I have a little bit of tie to any of you just makes it easier for me, and it just makes me, you know what I mean? It connects. So I connected with you then, and I obviously still connect with you now. I know I'm cheesy. I'm sorry, but
no, you're good. John, you said you had an idea. What were you going to say?
Like, I mean, this is what you're talking. Like, I had this idea to interview my parents. I'd shoot it like a documentary style and ask them questions about how it was come over here. And both of them at the same time said, nope.
Yeah.
I know it's hard, and I'm guilty of it too, because there's a lot about my parents and grandparents and stuff that I don't know, but you got to get them to do it at some point.
I mean, to me, it just felt like a brilliant idea because, like,
I think it's a brilliant idea. I would be interested in it.
In the 70s, or the late 70s, how many other people came from different countries and their experience? Like, I was like, it'd be great. They just like not even interested to do it a little bit.
Wow.
Just adamantly no. And I'm like, wow, I didn't think y'all would say no.
You tell them a guy that you went to elementary school with, if they remember me. Tell them I would tell them I'm interested in them doing it. I want to know your parents' story and how they ended up in Lufkin.
I mean, because the thing is, like, I know a lot of the broad strokes, but I don't even know a lot of the nuance. You know what I'm saying? Like of what it was like when they first came to Lufkin and stuff.
Right. I mean, is your last name Thomas? I mean, is that an Indian last name?
Well, no. Well, I mean, it is, but like my father was in the perfect storm of like how the names come about. Like in our culture, like the family retains a family name, but that's not necessarily part of your legal name. It's like you're part of House Stark, even though your like name would be something else. You'd be still part of House Stark. He's like a Game of Thrones reference, but like. So my dad had a perfect storm of getting his father's first name was Thomas. Then he was named after somebody else named Thomas. So his name ended up being Thomas. But otherwise, like if his name was Bob, my name would be John Bob. My mom's name would have been Omana Bob. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's only because he had the first and last name Thomas that my last name was the same as his.
Yeah.
Wow. See, I love that. Okay. Like I said, I'm not going to hijack it because I could talk about this for hours.
Me too.
But thank you for sharing that, John. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's so interesting. Yes, I agree. Yeah, it's so interesting. But yeah, I can go on for hours and I want to. it's almost been 2 hours, and I don't want to cut it off, but I have to. But all right. So, John, I'm going to go with you. And Zach, you're for last. Sorry. But there's a reason for it.
Okay.
Okay. So, John, last time we spoke, you were like, we were talking about our faith and where we were, right? And I was like, I don't know. I hope there's a heaven. You're like, no, man, like hell's better, right? You remember that? And I'm like,
well, I mean, like, I don't know that hell's better,
You're
but the
right.
thing is like,
right.
I don't know enough about
Okay.
either place to know what they're really about. But if I was logically breaking down hell and it's the place that is not with God, I don't know how it would be a punishment. Like, unless God is in charge of both places, like you know what I'm saying? Because if the devil's in charge of hell, then he gets to call the shot. You know what I'm saying? Unless he works for God. In which case, like, you know what I'm saying? But this all falls apart if he is opposed to God, then why would he follow like the hell laws that God wants? Like, isn't that where all the hookers and blow are gonna be? Like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't see it not being that if God's not in charge of hell.
Yes, and I never thought of that way. And truly, I have told many people. I was speaking to an old friend of mine, and they said that, and I've never thought of hell that way. But I really did some thinking, and instead of going to hell, I think I want to be in purgatory.
I mean, but I hear purgatory is you just there, like you can't do nothing.
That's
You're
right. But
limbo.
you see people come and go, right? So you can see like their loved ones. Where am I going? Right? I don't want to commit to one side or the other. I'm okay with like maybe you can dabble in the heaven a little bit and then dabble in the hell, but like no, you're stuck in purgatory. So I don't know. I wanted to bring that up. I thought that was interesting because you really I never thought of it that way.
And to be honest, I haven't really heard the devil's side to anything yet. So it's like I can't just like if I just listen to one side, that's not being very honest or logical. So I got to hear the other side so I can find the truth in the middle. Because like as Jim Jeffrey said, he's like maybe devil's just being the better person and he's not saying nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like
like you just said, truth in the middle, right? So that's where I want to be, right? Right?
I gotta hear both sides to weigh the evidence. You know what I'm saying? Like if you just hear one side, like anytime I've heard one side of a story, it usually wasn't the honest side. So you know what I'm saying? I gotta hear multiples to get to find out all the details.
Yeah, I want to be the one in the middle going, well, I don't know. This person said this, so let's get together and we'll talk about it in the middle. So anyway, I just thought that was really interesting because I never thought of it that way, and I found it very like intriguing. And I don't know. And
I mean, I've been an atheist for a long time, but even with more time, like my mind still like unravels the mythology of Christianity, where it's just like I'm like, God, how did I believe it for so long? Like it's just so much of it doesn't make sense, and on top of it all off, like there's nothing somebody can show you or prove to you that it's real. So it's like, my God, like this is a lot to ask of any person to just accept on face value.
Right. Oh, and that's how I feel because I want to believe, but I kind of don't. So I guess I'm just going to stay in the middle because I don't want to miss my chance, right? Right. You know what I mean?
I mean, like I didn't choose to stop believing. Like my deconversion came in trying to strengthen my faith, and everything that I read just made my brain like I'm reading the Bible, and my brain is like, whoa, like I didn't hear about this at the sermon on Sunday. You know what I'm saying? They're literally cherry picking the parts to tell you about, but not about the parts where God's like, hey, kill every one of those people, man, child, animals. Like I'm like, yo. There was not that sermon in Sunday school, at church. Like there's so much of the Bible not left out, and it's like when I was a believer, I'm like, God, Jesus, everything's so great and cheery, and then like you actually read the Bible, and like if God's supposed to be the arbiter of morality, why was He doing so much evil shit?
I get you. Yours is more logic based, right? And mine is more emotional based, right? So I don't know. I thought that was really cool, and there is some logic in what I'm in part of my decision. But I just thought that was interesting because at the time I was like, yeah, let's go to hell. And then the more I thought about it, I was like, well, wait a minute. I don't know about that. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
I mean, because the thing is, like, I don't know that it's a bad place. It might be a punishment, a horrible place, but I don't know that. I don't even know if it's real. So how do I even know what it's actually going to be like if I can't even confirm that it's a actual place my soul or whatever is going to end up?
But in theory, it's a freaking party, man, right?
I mean, well, that's my theory, but the other theory is it's like eternal torment for, it's infinite punishment for finite crimes. Like that in itself is not moral.
Right. I know. I get you. I really do. I didn't mean to bring things down, guys. I thought that was going to be funny. I really did. Sorry.
Look, but on our last episode, you and I have to do a separate episode just to talk about this stuff.
That's fine. I really thought it'd be funny, and I'm so sorry. I did not mean to bring things down. I really did.
You're good. I'll get.
So I'm Purgatory. Come and get me. I'll be there. I'll go either way, guys. Just come and get me. And Zach, here's my thing. I would really like to speak with you and have you come on with other guests. You don't have to answer me now. I know it's putting you on the spot, and I shouldn't. But my one last question to you is, I would like you to come on with some other guests, and some of the things you said today was kind of like that I get and kind of validated some stuff. So I think that's really cool. I would like you don't have to answer me now. My last question is maybe one day you'll do that, and that would be cool.
It's all my schedule. You know me. I mean, it's all about my schedule. If my schedule can, or I might be in the truck doing. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's but we can always work it out. That's not after I got through the first episode that we did, then I'm like, whatever now. But that first one was kind of tough because I'm not used to seeing myself and seeing. It's just weird to me. And I don't like hearing my voice. I mean, you know what I'm saying? All that shit together. So, but I mean, after the first time, I'm like, all right, whatever, fuck it. I mean, it's, it's fine. It doesn't really bother me. It's just like talking. I mean, I can talk for hours because I'm just a talkative person. So, but yeah, no.
And you look great. You look great, Zach.
Thank you. Speaking of looking, hold on. I've seen a couple of pictures of you. You slimmed down a little bit.
Yeah, I have. Yeah. So I
good, brother. I saw some pictures from last vacation. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, a couple years ago, you was kind of big, Cody. I mean, but so was I. I can't lie. So was I. But like,
it's all good. So, I go to this doctor, and she's been asking me for years. She's like, I love Dr. Pepper. Love it. So good. Like when it hits your lips, it's just explosive.
You put some whiskey in it.
Talking right there. That's talking.
Oh man, it's so good. But so I go to my doctor, and for years, she's like, "Are you still drinking sodas?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm still drinking them." She's like, "How many do you drink a day?" And I was like, "As many as I can." She's like, "Yeah, that's right." She's like, "Put a number on it." And I said, "Well, I really can't because some of them are 12 ounce, some of them are 32, 44. As many as I can." I said, "But I can tell you this: I crack open a soda before I go to bed, and I put it in the fridge and." When you guys get my age, you'll understand because I'm kind of old, but I wake up a couple of times in the middle of the night to go pee. I know. I'll wake up in the middle of the night a couple of times to go pee. And by the time I wake up in the morning to actually start my day, that Dr. Pepper that I poured the night before is gone. So I told her, I said, I'll literally drink a Dr. Pepper in my sleep. So every summer we go to Colorado for a couple of weeks and we go to a little bitty town in Colorado and there ain't much there. So I usually beginning of summer, I'll go down to the Dollar Club and I'll buy, a couple of 12 packs or whatever to take to Colorado with me. So, and I don't mean to make this story too long. I know you're trying to wrap, but I go and I buy like 3 or 4 12 packs of sodas. And we've been in Colorado for about a week and I'm opening up my last 12 pack. And I asked my wife, I said, I told her, I said, you need to tell these kids to stay out of my sodas. And she's like, they ain't drinking them. And I was like, how many have you had? And she's like, I brought my own diet, whatever. I don't like diet soda. And she's like, I ain't drinking them either. And I was like, so I've drank like 12, 24, like 36 sodas or 24 to 36 sodas in a week. And she's like, yeah. And I was like, all right, maybe I got a problem, you know? So on that trip, and that was almost 2 years ago, I gave up sodas and switched to water.
It's hard.
And it is hard. And I lost a little bit of weight.
Yes.
And I said, I'm gonna ride this train and see how far I can go. So anyway, I started eating a little bit better. I got an elliptical. I started getting on the elliptical, doing a little bit of weight loss, stuff to lose weight, just kind of get some physical activity going and stuff like that. And I just hope I can keep it off. I mean, that's the hard part is,
Yes.
trying to eat right and all that stuff. But, I know we've moved on from this topic, but, I'm not against drinking alcohol. I just choose not to drink alcohol. It's not something I grew up watching a lot of addiction and stuff around me. So I just chose to never drink. Again, there's a couple of times a year where I let loose and I'll have a few drinks, maybe one too many, a couple of times a year. But it's always like I'm at home or I'm on a trip with some friends or somewhere I don't, it's safe or whatever. But I like to be in control and same thing with, with recreational drug use. I'm not against it. I don't judge people for doing it. Like John said, I understand, and I've seen from people around me that there's benefits, they say for PTSD, one of the best things is ecstasy or, some form.
MDMA.
And exactly. I couldn't remember what the medical term for a lot of this stuff is, but I don't, I think that big pharma's, and again, that's a whole nother conversation that I'm not going to get into, but I think that big pharma has such a reign on things that we haven't been able to explore this medicinal benefits of other things that we've already got access to, fentanyl, I'm not against, I think fentanyl is terrible, but we all know that in the medical community, it's got its reasons. If you're going to have surgery or whatever, there's a reason that they administer that stuff in hospitals. It's the recreational part of it and the overuse and the misuse and stuff that get people killed,
Well, you can't do cocaine with strangers anymore.
That's exactly right. And you can't. I've known people, friends of friends, that have died from, I had a friend of a friend on a trip that I go on every year with a group of people that I went to college with, and they had to leave early a couple of trips ago for a funeral. Guy was down in, Brownsville area, Corpus or whatever. What is that down there? That's South Padre. Down there with his wife and daughter. This wasn't a friend of mine. It's a friend of a friend. Goes across the border just to do what he's done for years and never wakes up. Comes back over, falls asleep on the couch when he gets back on vacation with his wife and daughter and never wakes up. Got some bad stuff. Just don't do it with strangers. Just be safe. Agreed. I love you guys and want you here, Oh,
no, weed is where I is where I draw the line.
That's pretty easy one. I mean, a lot of that stuff you can get that at convenience stores now, right?
I mean, basically, yeah. I mean, I'm a DJ, so I have free access to alcohol. But other than doing the pod right now, if I'm not working, I wouldn't drink. And the only time I drink soda is when there's whiskey in it. So
there you go. That's great.
Is when there's whiskey in it.
Yeah. I love it.
But either way, Cody, you're looking good. I saw pictures. I
appreciate it, brother.
So
appreciate you, man. Thank you. I feel good. So
good. Yeah. I love that. And I'm the last one to draw. I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry. I'm the last one to judge with drug use or alcohol use. Believe me, I'm the last one. But you're right. Like, it's scary because I bring my boys home like fentanyl testing strips because even in the marijuana that they
exactly
buy, it's not good. Like, it's better to get it from a doctor now. It's better to get the script and go to the store or whatever. It's frightening, when I started on my addiction, it wasn't like that.
No, things were different back in the 90s when we were young. And again, I mean, I wasn't into that culture, but a lot of my friends were, and I never judged. And I always was, they were my friends through thick and thin, regardless of what they did in their recreation times. But we all know things were different in the 90s, early 2000s,
You could trust your dealer.
Exactly. But my kids are a lot younger than y'all's kids. My kids are 9 and 12, so I still have a long road ahead of me for my age,
Yeah, mine are all, I don't have any kids anymore. They're all adults.
Yeah, there you go.
They're my
Mine
they're
too.
my best friends.
That's awesome, man. I love it.
Mine too. My youngest son is 18. I have 18, 21, and 23. And
That's
I'm
awesome.
so glad I don't miss any of that like younger stuff. I really
Oh,
don't.
I really like I'm literally in their peer group and like I'm witnessing all the drama and the relationships. I'm just like, don't do
Oh
that.
man.
I'd be like, don't
Yeah.
do that. Don't respond to that. Don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. My children saw me fall a little more than like obviously, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's just it's frightening, like the things that they're just putting stuff in anything. You can't
Yeah.
even get like a pill and in its with F. I'm only saying that because of YouTube and whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's frightening. It really
Crazy
is
times.
frightening.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean I'm going, well, there were better times, because maybe that should have happened, right? Like I wouldn't
Make
have
drugs
been.
great again.
But I don't know. I would never ever have that life again. I'm just happy to be here with you guys, and I think that's great. Like I really do. I just think I enjoy this. I really do. I would like to have this panel again if you guys are up for it. And
Let me know.
all right.
This is what I do.
Cool.
So
And it's just a free flowing conversation, and whatever. I don't know if you guys are up for it. I would really like it.
Absolutely.
Just let us know.
well,
Let us know.
I'm literally about to do this again, about to do my own right now. So I'm gonna have to say goodbye to y'all. I got my homie waiting here. So it's been
Thanks,
a
John.
pleasure, guys. Can't wait to do this again.
Me too.
Cool.
Thank you so
Right
much.
on, John.
I'll reach out to
Thank
everyone.
y'all.
I'll
Thank you,
take care.
Carrie.
Good catching up with everybody. Y'all take care.
Thanks.
You too. I really appreciate everybody. Thank you so much. I really
You
do.
bet. Absolutely. Y'all take
Anytime,
care.
Carrie.
Cody, it was great seeing you.
Great seeing you too. You guys look great.
You got my number in that group text.
I do.
Keep it.
Yeah.
Give me a shout
Yep.
sometime.
I'll definitely do it, man. Let me know if you're ever this way. Zach, are your parents still here?
Yeah. I'm in Lufkin. I'll be in Lufkin over Christmas. I'm in and out of Lufkin because all my family still lives there.
Are your parents still over? What was it, Davisville?
No. I've got family in Idlewood. My mom's in Idlewood, and my dad's up behind the in Redland, kind of back.
Okay.
You know where the New Loves is?
Yeah.
Behind that. He lives
Okay.
behind that. So, but yeah, I'm in and out of town. So yeah, we'll definitely have to catch up and.
Man, I'd love to do it.
You know,
You bet. Yeah, you bet. But Carrie, have us on again.
Yeah.
I would love that. If anything, it got us talking and reconnecting. That's all I care about. I know I'm weird, but that's
no. It's been fun. It's been fun.
It's been fun. Yeah, it's good.
We'll see it
Awesome.
again.
You bet.
Guys, thank you so much. Truly, I appreciate it. I know I've taken up over 2 hours of your time, but I really appreciate
It's all
it.
good.
I'm not watching the clock. I'm having a good time.
Me too.
So
I will message you guys soon.
All right.
All right, guys.
Y'all be good.
You too.
Thank you.
How do I get out of this now?